Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you're watching around the world. Welcome back to the ESL PUBG Masters Americas. My name is Toffees, and we are getting ready to kick off the final day of play here at the Masters. It has been quite the story as the Young Kings reigned supreme yesterday, but can they take the oath off the top of the pedestal as they're in the lead to become the overall champions? We're going to spend the day talking about it as well as watching some of the best PUBG NA has to offer, but I'm not doing it alone. I am joined by the best, the brightest, two luminaries when it comes to understanding this game. It is Matt and Godspeed, and I gotta say, that shirt is out of this world.
Hey, thanks, Steve. You know what? You're out of this world. You're great.
I appreciate that.
How many jokes per sentence was that? Because there were so many hidden puns in that opening, I lost track. I think we got up to like 10 or 12. That's got to be like a new record for you, Toffees. Much respect.
I can't wait to get a ride in a name for me called the Turn of Phrase Carousel. That's what I live for. One day, dare to dream. But let's talk about guys who've dared to dream. Let's talk about the format, how the teams who started got here. Matt, more than 200 teams started. Where are we at now?
All right, we're all the way at the end of it, but let's work through. You know, every single step of the way, we had these two sub-regions up against each other. Well, not up against each other, but just fighting to be the best of the best in their different sub-regions. We finally bring them together for the grand finals, and we've had 2 weeks of action. But this is the last day for everything, so everything is now on the line, and everybody's fighting to be the best of the entirety of the Americas region.
Cash is on the line. Everyone wants to be the best, and it's been unique. You've got to win each week. Overall winner becomes the grand champion, whoever has the most money, and they get a bonus $5,000. But the grand champion, it's not just the money. There's something else that I think is even more important, Godspeed. I know is more important.
You know it's more important, as do the players. It's the PGC points. Ultimately, that's what's going to get them to the dance at the end of the year, and that's the dance that they want to go to because that's going to be the biggest prize pool.
It is. Unlike myself, hopefully they get to go to a dance. Sad panda.
I've seen your moves, Steve.
I was waiting for that to go into a joke, and now I'm just
dance
down,
like a monster.
dude.
Listen, I've seen Steve at a club. He's got some moves. He's got some moves.
What happens at dance clubs stays at dance.
I didn't give details. I just said
let's talk about 3 teams who have a chance to make it to the big dance as they chase down the victory this week. It's Fiumba, Creche, and Gascans. Matt, tell me more about these guys.
All right, Fiumba kind of came in as the underdog. Not a lot of people having their eyes on him. Sure, it's composed of teams that are players that you should be familiar with. I mean, Silzen, Emmy, we've seen them play at the international level quite frequently, but there was just other teams everybody was talking about, but these guys have come in and proven that they know how to navigate in-game circles. They play in a very low-risk scenario style. They know the fact that they only want to take a fight if they have control at that exact same moment, and if it's going to propel them into a winning position. And using that to walk forward every single step of the way has been how they found so much success inside of this format.
And moving on to Creche, I mean, this is a team who came off of a 9th place finish in the last PCS and then really just kind of set last week on fire. Creche has been an absolute aggressive powerhouse in these last 2 weeks, and it's honestly been a pleasure to watch these guys play. We've seen them rack up really high kill counts on top of just wiping some of the best teams in some really emphatic and impressive fashion. And to be completely honest, I really, really love what I've been seeing from this team, and it seems like abbreviating all the names down to 3 letters has really helped the guys.
Okay, gas cans. We keep talking about teams that are on fire. This is one of them that just is constantly trying to avoid being on fire because they do not want to explode. These guys are so phenomenal when it comes down to it, though. They're starting to adapt and grow every single game that we watch them. Whenever we first started off, it was all just about getting to the chicken dinner. Then it started being about going back and trying to tidy up their team fights and start going for kills. Next, it's the evolution of adding them both together and finding consistent success. And time again, that's what we're seeing from the gas cans. Getting to those in-game circles, getting there through blood, sweat, and tears, and walking away with kills as they do it.
All right, let's take a look at the overall standings for week 2 as we jump into this one. Young Kings in the lead with 3 chicken dinners and 31 kills. Gas Cans, the only other team to really show up yesterday, Godspeed, as they got the first chicken. And then the Kings did something that we haven't seen. I think you were doing it earlier in a very long time, that back-to-back-to-back.
The last time we've seen 3 wins back to back to back was, I'm pretty sure we all talking about Oath back in the Charity Showdown, which was quite a bit ago. So Young Kings did something very special yesterday, obviously. And then on top of, again, getting those three wins, they were able to get the kills to match them once they got that low kill win. So they definitely put in a lot of work yesterday. And they were just super impressive. There's nothing else to say. And
Matt, it's you bring up a good point there, guys, because it's very easy, I think, as a viewer to look at that 2-kill win they had where they played pretty passive and be like, ha, fail, you stink, or whatever. But the reality is they're only I think it was 7 kills behind the Sonics' overall performance, who have been getting still a lot of love for their consistency. They put up a huge amount of work yesterday.
Yeah.
I mean, Matt, is there any validity to lucky?
All right, look, it comes down to this. We all knew the format and what everybody was playing for. Everybody was playing for the chicken dinners coming in. And while I never want to discount anybody for being a good team fighting team, you got to play the rules that were assigned to you. And if you can keep finding success inside of that, then you're playing the rule system and going for the money. That is your goal. And we talk about sometimes some teams play higher risk and some teams play low risk. Sometimes you walk away with 20 kills and sometimes you walk away with 2. But whenever it comes down to it, you're playing the rule set. And if you're playing the rule set well, you deserve to walk away with the money at the end of the day. That's the clean, simple way that I see it.
Play, get chicken, get paid. Way to go. All right, let's talk about the standings right now. Young Kings are in the lead. Gas Cans has 2 chicken dinners, so they're closest to them. We're only playing 4 more maps. There's 4 other teams, I believe, or 3 other teams that have 1 chicken. So that said, Godspeed, it is relatively open in a lot of ways for teams to start to play this catch-up. It's a tall order to catch Kings, but everyone else is open.
It's still a tall order to catch a King, sure, and even potentially to catch Oath at this point. But the point is they still want to place within that top 8. They still want to get the money, and they still want to get a chance at the PGC points, because ultimately it's not still over. You know, the year isn't over. Obviously, with this event, we still have potentially more coming. So, yeah, I really think that these teams should still try to finish strong and get as many points and money, honestly, as they can.
Yeah, and get some practice, Matt, because it's not just about how you finish here. PCS 5 is just around the corner. That's the last chance for PGC points. A lot of money. That prize pool is ridiculously massive, and it's sort of the bid to the World Championship. So is there something to be said for maybe if you're struggling a little bit this week, using these 4 games to learn and adapt and take some risks?
Well, I still think that there's opportunities on the table.
Okay.
Whenever we look at it, I mean, Young King's walking away with 3 chicken dinners, and that's strong, but it also provides opportunity for other people, because now you're just not looking after just kills. If you just get a chicken dinner today, that could be absolutely pivotal for you. So there's still chances today, so still try to play to the best of your capabilities, but yes, there is also benefit in saying, okay, we haven't really tried to go toe-to-toe with this team yet. Let's try it, and maybe that could put us in a better position for PCS. But whenever we're looking at the last day of this event, and there is money on the line, and there is the PGC points on the line, don't get too crazy with it. If there's an opportunity that abounds, take it. But if you really think that you can still have the chance to go in the chicken dinner hunt, then keep going for that. That is the overall goal that everybody should be after today, in my opinion.
All right, guys, we've been watching a lot of these sort of matches that are ending 4 deep. And when I say 4 deep, I mean teams that are really getting to sort of 4-on-4s. And in some cases, we saw a 4-on-4-on-4-on-3 at one point. Just a massive amount of people showing up at the end game. I think there's a lot of teams that aren't used to that, right? Maybe used to getting there with 3 or 4 and having to deal with other sort of limp-ins on a regular basis. How has that changed? Have you heard anything from the players about the difficulty of the end game, or has it changed at all?
I honestly don't think Endgame has changed too much. Obviously, going back to kind of Poc's point yesterday, we actually made a much better point than I was trying to make, but teams are playing much more for kind of like that single big fight in order to survive and try to win the game, as well as also just trying to save teammates. But aside from that play, I really don't think maybe some of the teams have become more passive towards the end game. Obviously, we saw that with Young Kings yesterday, but I don't think it's changed drastically as far as the end game.
See, I wanted to chime in on that one real quick, because what we do see people talking about is the stress of the end game. The way people are playing it, they're still trying to play it the same. But whenever it's all coming down to the chicken dinner, you can see that a couple of teams sometimes do show that passive nature that Godspeed's talking about, because it's a little bit of fear. Like, okay, we know that we are this close. We're almost there. We just need to win this next team fight. And then there's a little bit of doubt that can creep inside your head. And once you start having that doubt, that indecision, that slows you down, it's really, really I guess makes the communication a little bit more cluttered as well, and can lead to problems that actually cost you those in-game circles.
It's just a domino effect, right? As soon as one player gets knocked in an endgame situation where it's 4-on-4 or even like 3-on-4, then like, oh crap, we got knocked. And then another knock comes out, and then, you know, the dominoes start to fall. But yeah, ultimately, I don't think the format has really kind of changed the way endgame is played. But as far as pressure, I think there's more pressure for sure.
It's been fascinating. It's also been fascinating to see teams adapting or sort of changing the way that they think. I think yesterday, Young King's interview, where they talked about, you know what, we knew that if we could just find a sneaky place in the grass and wait it out, we'd lower our chances of not having 4, up our chances of winning. It was a very statistical style of play. And it seems like a lot of teams are embracing this, Matt, and sort of the bid to understand that chicken is king.
Well, I saw actually something on social media right before we started this up, and that's the fact that, and I do agree with this, PUBG can be played a lot of different ways. It's not always about the kills. If you're aiming for chicken dinners, then that's your goal. That's the way you're wanting to play this through, then follow that strategy. If you are going for the kills, you can do that as well. But there isn't just one succinct way that is the right way to play PUBG. There are plenty of options, and that's why we love Battle Royales.
It is a time for us to get this Battle Royale started as we go to our casters, 2 men who are lighting it up. It is Hypoc and Porosaurus.
Hello, everybody. We are back once again for the final day of this Phase 2 of ESL Masters Americas. I am Porosaurus. Joining me once again is Hypoc, and there is a lot to be left to be decided in this final day, Hypoc.
Yeah, you guys, guess you could say things are really heating up in here, Por. I can't wait to get these games underway.
Well, where there's smoke, there's fire, and right now things are smoking all across Miramar.
Sizzling.
Sizzling maybe less so, but look, hey, Young Kings going back to back, absolutely unreal. Can't take that away from them. But let's be fair. Let's look at the rest of the tournament that they've had. Hadn't been that great.
It hasn't. No, I mean, you call it as we see it, really. But the opportunities here, I got to see them come out swinging. Obviously, the questions I was alluding to in that interview yesterday was kind of, what are the changes coming in today? Does this change your outlook? Does it change the ethos or how you're going to approach these games? And the answer was simple, right? It was nope. We're going to do what we've always intended to do. But the success coming through yesterday, it hasn't changed their outlook at all.
And that's fair, and that's probably the right outlook to take, as you're sitting on 3 wins. If they can manage to kind of take this home, that'd be a nice little chunk of change and a nice little stack of PGC points going in their favor as we look at kind of the overall, right, in terms of who's going to be getting to go to the big dance there at the end of the year. And we knew that Latin America was going to be a kind of a spicy, I don't know, spicy run for the PGS points here in this one. Ooh. And it's definitely started, and that's a circle. All right.
That is a circle. You're right. I think.
Oh no!
That's some good damage, actually. Be careful here. That doesn't get confirmed. Gonna be able to break line of sight. Unlucky there for Biznack. I felt like the M16 of all weapons there.
They're not leaving him.
No.
Yeah. Here comes Vinny trying to finish off what was previously done, but Artre, well, he tried to hide. Wasn't as successful maybe as he would have hoped, and yep, Vinny will go ahead and confirm that one. Jube will take a few shots in the back of Vinny just to show him how mad he is about that, but that's 1 down already for Versus.
Yeah, not a good start, but again, I mean, we could say Versus woes continue, to be honest. Down in 12th place at the minute, 22 kills on the board. Another team, I mean, you could put them before yesterday in the same bucket as Young Kings, right? Not an awful lot to write home about.
Nah.
And the thing that I was looking at this just before we went live, and the kill count is obviously always a discussion, but look at gas cans, man. Like there isn't a huge difference between there, and then coming down to TSM with the 1 win, it's 36 things. There isn't as much of a, I guess, a gap. Last week, I think there was a big drop off to some of the kill leaders that weren't able to put a win up just yet and put Dignitas into that before I think the last 2 games or something. But this time around, things seem to be a lot more stable in terms of the kill count. At least, obviously, Oath pulled ahead massively, but that's the thing with this format, that leaves it wide open, right? We've got 4 games here. again, if we do see repeat winners, it could get interesting. But there's lots of possibility for movement.
Yes, indeed. And yeah, I mean, we were coming into week 2 after week 1. We were saying that week 1 was kind of an outlier in terms of just general America's comp PUBG and the way it's kind of typically played out in the past. And things, I think, a little bit more leveling off here a little bit. A lot of, as you mentioned, a lot of teams sitting there right around that 30 plus kill mark. But in general, we haven't seen as many Latin American teams make it to the late game. I lost all my signal. Okay, there we go. Okay, Heikeman's back. There we go. That was a little disconcerting. Heikeman looting up over there at prison on the island. Maybe he knows something we don't. I don't know.
I mean, looking at that first circle pop, it's not looking like a bad call, right? There's lots of space to maneuver into here. Dare I say it? I mean,
dare.
The cast we had the other day, Circle 2s were interesting.
I mean, brutal if you're in the game, but very, very exciting.
Interesting, yeah, fascinating. Yeah. You could say.
You could say that. You could say that. There was definitely a hard shift Circle 2 Fiesta going on Friday. Leveled out a little bit yesterday, but it's still pretty rough stuff. We'll see if Circle 2s decide to be brutal here today, in which case maybe Hikerman a harbinger of things to come. A little casual driving through Los Leones. I'm going to go ahead and get away with that one as Veritas has already dipped out, and they will be running into No Chance, which, let's be honest, nobody really seems to want to run into No Chance. They always seem to be around, and they do not care about fighting you in places where you feel like they shouldn't be fighting you.
Yeah, and I think as coming back to that conversation we've had a couple of times now where okay, I will hold that thought for a second. I was about to say things may be becoming a little more predictable, or at least a couple of teams adapting down to I don't want to say down to, that's almost like lowering the standard, but well, adapting to the tempo of some of the games. Or is that the right word? I can hear something is going on.
Indeed we can. All right, there we go. It looks like Acreche did manage to run into 303. It's all LATAM on LATAM violence, man.
Do you know what though? It was yesterday though, and the day before that we had loads of like LATAM on LATAM late games, which was interesting. If that trend is going to continue.
Yeah, well, you know, the talk at the end of week 1, and you know, I think the interviews with the Oath Boys really kind of drove the point home, was people being in places where they shouldn't be. Or they they stay way longer than expected. They're not rotating as fast.
There's always this argument for, and I used to make this argument as a player. If you're ever in a scenario saying, "What the hell are these guys doing here? What are you doing there to see them there?" Is my response to that. You've got to be in the wrong part of the map to find the team that's not supposed to be there. So there is an element where it's, you know, some teams are forced into spots by, you know, a team holding an edge, and they have to sit a really bad compound for another circle that they don't necessarily want to be at. So it's the domino effect of PUBG.
Yeah, I mean, and I can understand why Oath in particular would be one of those teams that be really frustrated by that, being an edge playing team. As speaking of which, they're running into Versus right now, trading shots over near Monte Nuevo. But if you're an edge playing team in a format like this, where you're looking to backfill, you're looking to kind of scout out where to go next, and the team that you're wanting to backfill doesn't go anywhere, like, that's going to be real frustrating to you. So
if that's the way you want to play, you're putting yourself in the scenario where you potentially have to deal with those variables. And so yesterday on the desk, we were talking about some of those variables a lot, and Oath's ability to deal with them, like, and be proactive about it was where I think they found most success on or at least day one, in terms of, you know, making it to late game. They were being a lot more decisive. And they were moving probably a circle earlier than what we'd traditionally see them doing. But I'm just, is this a camp up on the north side? Is this 22 camp? They are there late.
That's going to be that's kind of nuts.
My eyes are glued to the kill feed.
Yeah, I'm looking at San Martin right now as we check on TSM, kind of making their rotation in through Chumacera, trying to avoid Sonics as best they can. I think we're having a little bit of technical difficulty, so that might be why we're not spotting out
Everything's fine.
22 and Young Kings. But yeah, we're fine for right now. For the most part, TSM, it looks like they're just going to go ahead and take this high ground. Sonics already on this western part of Chumacera, and there's a little bit of looks like Troglodytes down there as well. And there we go. Okay, 22 and Young Kings looks like they are going to manage to avoid each other. So I don't know if that was 22's plot or if that just happened to be that way.
Just seeing somebody that late and the way that 22 were positioned on the southwest corner of San Martin, I feel as if they were setting up a trap. Again, it wasn't to be. Actually, both split both west and east side of power grid. And we'll find a decent amount of space coming to the circle. At least 22 will. Young King's got to be careful because Oath have left kickstart over towards Montenuevo Crossroads, so he should get info at least on that rotation coming through. Keenan sending shots over towards sending them away from the church for the time being. And again, that's one of the big pinch points in this circle one. Yes, it's very far to the north, but Ladriera and the surrounding area should be okay. Well, there's as many teams in that circle as there was in circle one, so we can deal with that. Now, I guess everybody's still in the vehicles at a distinct advantage here because they can just keep driving.
Jeez. Yeah, I mean, look, circle two hardships have been, well, I mean, at least for us, they've been the kind of the norm, but I think everybody really expecting this thing to go center around Chumacera with good reason. I mean, that's kind of what we've gotten used to see recently, but this one hard shifting off, and now that entire western side of the circle, that high ground spot, completely empty. SSG going to go down the middle of the road. Dodge going to try to make it through Via de Mar, and they're going to see gas cans, the 2-2 split, at least from gas cans, trying to make their way just to their north. Looks like everybody should be safe for the time being. There's no way we get through this circle with 60 alive, though. I mean,
No, I mean, I already see three teams looking to wrap on the north side. It's Oath, 22, and Young Kings. We already know we're in very, very close proximity. Elsewhere here, Sonics and Troglodytes actually pulling up onto the same side of the hill. And Sonics, well, they've caught wind of this. They want to take the fight.
Yeah, they've absolutely heard these motors coming through. They know that they're still in rotation formation. So Sonics may be coming up over the top, see if they can land a few shots. Some will be taken, but nothing going to land just yet. And now, Fiumba. Are they going to come up here and turn this into a third party? No. And then you've got a Creche off to the north as well, so you got to be careful about how far up to the north you try to wrap Tig. Trying to go for that flank. Fiumba will lose one, but they'll trade it back. As H-Wing goes down, Mime will come around. He'll find another one. He'll get the flush as well. H-Wing should be resable, but here come Troglodytes. They see the blood in the kill feed, and they know what's up. Pickleton going to do his best to try to keep them at bay, and it looks like it's working for the time being.
And they're going to note the second team here, and a second member of Fiumba actually getting flushed out in the fray, and that's going to force them away. The other two members of Fiumba do retreat. Now Troglodytes get third party that here. Creche come through and find XX, so that's going to alleviate some of the pressure, at least onto Sonics, as I say that. TSM from distance. Going to try and team shot Tiggleton, but no knock comes through. They should be able to find themselves some breathing space down to the compound. But again, a lucky break, if you ask me, with Fiumba getting third partied and then Troglodytes getting third partied, where there was two teams that came over the top there to alleviate that pressure onto Sonics, as I said.
Yeah, Sonics arguably getting away with one there. I mean, they had the opening knock on H-Win. Unfortunately, neither Troglodytes nor Fiumba were able to really capitalize on it because of all those said third parties. So, and actually, got to give credit where credit is due. Very good work from Mime and Tig to make sure that the pushes never really came. They actually kind of kept forced Trog into Creche's line of sight, if you want to think about it, that way.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That one is Young Kings has
Lost one.
Finally, yeah, I mean, lost one, but finally found an opportunity to stop driving way over on the west side. I think Oath actually trying to kind of shadow them in rotation. I think it was actually 22 and Young Kings that did clash. Like I said, that was brewing all the way back from San Martin. And, well, if Circle 2 wasn't interesting enough, Circle 3's gone hard south.
That'll do it. Okay,
Which, this is actually interesting here, Paul, because usually we'd get a straight 50-50 split, right? Either goes west or east here, back towards Tumor, and obviously this is outside the Ladriera, but this one's pulled hard central to the south.
Yeah, that valley, the Ladriera Valley, essentially not really having that much play to it, but the south side of this circle going to get really popular as a lot of these teams that feel like they have no better shot are going to make this crash into Vitamar.
Yeah, and this is, I mean, the best of a list of bad decisions, if you ask me. Getting into Valdemar is horrendous. One of the worst cities to fight in. One of the worst cities to have to leave as well, with all of the sight lines uphill. So if anybody's settling for this now, I mean, even if the next circle centers Poro, it's still not great.
No, it's definitely not. I mean, he's going to have to cut away from that water eventually. So they got at least this circle in the next most likely to hang out in Vitamar and figure out what they want to do. Meanwhile, Sonic's going to run into Trogloditas once again. H-Win going to go down and get flushed out this time, but Trog now down to just one. And Sonics are crashing onto it. Haze-10 will actually do the work for them and clean up Trogloditas. So they are out in 16th place. Meanwhile, no chance to be pushing into the 2-2 split of Dodge Vegas. And Ellis Senpai ready and waiting.
This is difficult here. It's, again, being split like this, you can't really help out Ellis Senpai and Vegas. It's good sight lines down, but to close this distance, very difficult, and No Chance can just play on the south side here. They don't have to even take the fight. And look at that, Balkan pushes through. Well, actually down and flushed here. And look at this, Vegas will find the knock as well. No Chance making a meal of this. No way. I'm seeing Dig actually wrap far hard on the edge here. They could get up to Dodge's second compound uphill.
Yeah, I mean, Dig made that wrap way. I mean, we saw how Oath, Young Kings 22 were all making that push from the side. Dig came in even further later than that. And now they're going to run into Young Kings. And going to find Sparking. That's him going down already. Where the rest of the Dig boys very split on this southwestern side.
No way they try and come back for this.
They might.
No way.
Looks like they're going to try to. Honey Badger going to do some big damage on to and one. But look at this, the blue pushing in. They don't have a whole lot of space to really play with here. The new circle will pop, and it will go off to the west, hard west. So Vitamar still in play. Eventually they will have to leave. Dig can take their time with this as well. Try to work this out. Looks like Sparking, Punich maybe making the run. And one just going to go ahead and let him.
Tig trying to do a little bit of damage in transition. Look at that, Mime actually going to get lost on the way past here, and this vehicle is not looking very good, but Shrimsy and Tig will find a safe spot for the time being. But gas cans with good numbers, give them a little time and space. They might opt to try and punish this.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like the gas can's way recently, though, does it? I mean, gas can, they got a compound, they got center circle. Wait,
no way.
We'll see if they chill here. Snakers, meanwhile, they're going to find...
Oh, he's pulling up on this.
SSG, once again, getting involved in an early fight here. Keenan will try to pop up top. No, Kickstart will take care of him. Uncivil's going to try to peek through the bars, takes the shot, but doesn't land the damage that he wants. Nice molly from Kickstart will force them back. Uncivil will have to pull back just a little bit. Does get the flush onto Keenan, but Civ basically trapped like a rat in a cage.
Oh, and he's burning.
Yep, he tried to go for the window. It wasn't there, unfortunately for him. So he will just bleed out. Let's see the rest of his team. trying to take shots over there, but they've got to worry a little bit about Akreche is just above them in the
So
same
split.
compound. Yeah. Not sure if that 2-2 split was called for, if it was just happened because Akreche and Oath both happened to push at the exact same time.
And this
To the
was
Dignitas push.
yeah, this was the compound I was talking about. That, and excuse me, they got Sparking back on their feet. Okay,
Yep.
well,
Okay.
a 4-strong dig now pushing towards Young Kings, who are down to 3. Saw a couple of tags going towards. Was that Honey Badger coming over the side of the hill there, or somebody?
Veritas actually shooting at this from Valdemar from miles away, so no real damage coming through, but it's going to be enough to make Dig
There's
not want
Sparkings,
to push
sorry.
on that cliff side there. As Dignitas, they're just kind of actually 22 found an angle onto this as well, so Dignitas is getting peppered from range here. Nothing substantial, but it's got to be making them uncomfortable. But this is such a slow burn of a push, a crash to make into this compound. These compounds so dangerous as we see Versus get eliminated.
A couple of bits of utility exchanged, but no knock just yet. I think actually this pressure coming in from afar might wait, that should do damage there. It does do a decent amount of damage actually. No follow-up just yet, and Dignitas still happy to play this slow. I would have thought with that pressure coming in from afar, might force their hand a little bit. Circle did pull this way, so no time constraints. They can let this one play out, but 22, they have to move over on the north side. You can see them already. They can move south.
Would not be beyond 22 to try to make the crash here. Meanwhile, and one here, the footsteps will pre-fire. Good damage done, but no knock, and no! Sparking tries to make the rush, but and one on the move. He'll get knocked. He'll get another one down, though. So now Ycuz, Z-Flux will get down as well. The Molotov will come out from Ycuz. He'll drop down, get another one, and
No
Dig is
way.
wiped.
No way. Young Kings just running absolute circles around Dignitas. They hold on to that. Vinny actually came down on the backside, but jumping on elsewhere, Cresce will fall.
SSG.
This is the other half of that split. Yeah, uphill. You can see here that Roth and Sharpshot do manage to hold on to this for the time being, but wow. I mean, Young Kings now in a power position. 22 are going to make moves here. You can see already Vinny was the first one to head south, but he's not pressuring the compound.
We mentioned that those compounds are extremely difficult to push, and that extra pressure from the outside may have had to play in forcing Dig's hand here. Meanwhile, TSM trying to deal with Veritas as everybody's having to make their way out of La Drea. Or, I'm sorry, Vitamar. Luke 12 will get taken out by a grenade from Fiumba, actually. Halo reading the
Oh, we saw the heads.
reading the angle. Yeah, he knows what's going on here. Another nicely placed Molotov might do the work. Baishka going down as well as Fiumba is the other side of this Vitamar fight. Is going to get involved. Halo gonna find the first down. Gets stolen away by Vegas. He's going to find the second one as well. Halo stepping up here on the final day as Veritas is getting just picked apart here. Kurt will find another. Actually, Space Station tries to make a push into. I'm not sure where that was going. That was a weird push from them. I guess they had no better choice. Gas Can's just gatekeeping so hard. Oh, well, there you go. 3 in the bag for Halo. And 1 left up for Veritas. Danny G. Try to see if he can snake his way a little bit further in, because right now TSM slightly bigger problems to worry about.
We do, but they are the victors of Valdemar. Other than Danny G, who I feel as if he's not long for this world.
I feel you're
22
right.
continue to pressure Young Kings. Did actually trade back and forth. I think Young Kings did actually lose a member in the process, so it's down to just Flux and one. As Vinny gets the res right now, so 22 back up to 4 here, and they can play this slow now. They're going to be in a really dominant position if they do clean this up. Danny G does fall elsewhere.
Who else? Halo. Another kill in the bag there. I mean, meanwhile, Dodge is just laughing, right? I mean, they're four up in the compound.
Yeah.
nothing really to worry about. They've got, I mean, free fire over TSM. TSM is just, I don't even know what you do at this point. They have no vehicles, no cover, no nothing. So Gascan, Sonics, Oath all on the eastern side have to make their way in as well. So we see Young Kings still trying to deal with this 22 situation. Oh, some nice shots from Snakers over the top. Gonna find Gas, and the grenade from Bale will take out Adam. And you can see in the kill feed, yeah, TSM, their uppance has come as Dodge is just free farming them, and pretty much exactly the way Go Oath is doing the gas cans right now here. Greg Shot, the only one really to look like he's made it out of the building. Everybody else still pretty pinned. Hikerman and Nikos will have to pull back a little bit to heal. They do get the heals off. The smokes are going to come down from Oath as they might try to make the push. Get in here a little bit closer. They like the close range fight options a little bit better. I'm not sure what their utility situation is, but we know what their blue zone situation is. They are right on top of gas cans, all on top of each other. Balefrost just going to open it up, finds one. Kickstart actually going to be the one to do the damage. Bale cannot touch that blue zone, but look at this. Sonics from the back will clean up Oath before they can finish off Gas. And Gas goes down to the zone. What timing from Sonics.
Comes through. Shrimsy will actually fall now. Vini managed to get an angle over on his side of the road. Tickleton now the last man standing for Sonics, and not a lot else to do.
How is TSM still alive?
I have no idea. I feel like Dodge have clean line of sight. I mean, I know there's two small ridges or rocks or something out next to the power line there, but I feel as if, yeah, okay. I don't know then. What do I know?
Yeah, I don't know what any of us know. Tiggleton gonna find Vinny in the middle of nowhere, but he's gonna take a headshot from Raji in return. Let's see, he's got plenty of time to get that first aid off, but gonna have to get on the move.
In just yet.
Yeah, that zone's forcing him into the street. Has to go across the street, and actually,
no way.
Pulled back. 22 actually lets him live here. As Raji, maybe lost the line of sight or something. But this is not a man that you want to let live. Oh, there you go. Okay. Whew. Come down to a mini duel, and Tig doesn't usually lose those, but Raji, wow. Adequate and up for the challenge. And here we go. TSM. They've gotten Alo right up to the...
Yeah, and that was on the back of the knock. So Alo now can play very close contact here. It's ultimately got to make a... That flash is perfect. Alo's flashing them off here so that they can move.
Yeah.
This is also that Kurt and Penta can make moves downhill.
This is almost an exact replica of what we saw in that TSM Dignitas fight, where in the game that TSM got 20 something kills, Fiuma ended up winning it. But this was that push that they made into Dignitas. Dignitas ended up handling it fairly well. Dodge, we'll see what they can do here as Alo holds the line. Purdy is now here. Penta should be right behind him as Dodge has basically retreated and just turtled up.
Giving us
up, this push. Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, the one thing you never want to do is let TSM get. I mean, it's well played by Alo. Those flashes forcing them off that head peak on the edge of the ridge, but now a real fighting chance for TSM to clear through the compound.
No hard peaks coming out from any of the Dodge boys, really. They're just holding the line at this point. And you can see exactly where they're positioned. No windows, no nothing. And now Kurt's got a nice little flanker position here to kind of keep track of Alo. Penta still on that cliffside. Meanwhile, Young Kings and 22, they're wrapped up in their own world right now. It's been a will. Get a little bit of a peek onto Alo here. He decided to leave the house, and that's not what you want to do. Alo will find the knock and the flush as Dodge. They're just getting bullied right now.
Yeah, this is all on the back of that pressure that Alo is able to create. And now TSM able to slow play this because they have their backs to the blue, right? They don't have to worry about playing on the south side. Dodge, unfortunately, have more sight lines to worry about. So it allows TSM to get into this spot. And look at that. Alo going to find himself some utility now which makes it even more dangerous to Dodge to hold on to this. Penta actually going to find a knock. Damage comes through from Biznaga uphill. Look at that. The molly going to go through. That should clear Lamp out. I think he's still on top of something. It's going to allow him to survive for the time being, but just a matter of time, I feel.
Yeah, this is just, I mean, as methodical as you want to get here. Lampalot just holding the corner. You can see him stood up on that. Oh, there you go. Doesn't even get a shot off. TSM just like that. I mean, Dodge was looking beautiful that whole game, and TSM just dismantles them. 22 actually decides that they don't even want to deal with Young Kings anymore, and they're pushing down into TSM.
Oh, no, that's... okay. Yeah, that's not a push. That's not an intentional push right there. I'm fairly confident Biznaga has DC'd.
Oh, no. Yeah. Oh, dear. Oh, that's not good.
You really hate to see it.
Always the risk. Unfortunate there for 22 as Biznaga does go down. 22, Raji Wow and Hayes 10 still holding on the line, and one in flux though as Young Kings yet again find their way to a circle 8, almost to a circle 9. They have not had this much late game success all tournament. And then yesterday, the last all four games, they managed to get players into circle 9. Somehow they have flipped a switch and figured out how to get to late game in these things.
Let's see what they can get done here. Decent uphill position, and I'm thinking one circle ahead. TSM have to leave this fairly early. They have to come away from this. Now, I know there was a stack of smokes across at least Penta and Ayla. I'm not sure about Kurt, but I don't know they can buy enough time here to at least outlive one of these teams, because Young Kings can get pretty close to the star. I feel like Young Kings have got the best access to the star on this next circle.
Yeah, they really do. I mean, it's basically that tree right there.
Well, Flux is actually further in than I think the corner of this building is. That's what I'm talking about. The timing here could be horrible.
TSM, I mean, they've got a little bit of room to work with. Ooh, Halo.
Don't give away a knock.
This kid is on fire right now. Do not repeat that, sir. Purdy will find Raji Wow, though, through the smoke. Actually trying to play the edge of the smoke, I think Raji was, and another grenade from Purdy. Let's see if he can seal the deal with it. Does do some significant damage, doesn't flush the knock. However, Haysten gonna have to pull away from it. Now, Alo solely responsible for keeping charge of Young Kings, while Purdy starting to push in and finish off. And there goes Hayes 10 and 1 going to be the one to do it. So now it's a 3v2 TSM versus Young Kings. Can Young Kings do the impossible and get 4 wins in a row? I cannot think of the last time that, I don't know if that's ever happened in competitive play. 4 wins in a row. That's what Young Kings has on the line right now. They're going to split up and try to take multiple lines of sight, multiple angles into this. And 1FPS will find some shots on. He doesn't get the knock though, and now he's got to push back into the blue. Oh, that's a lot of damage. He's got the smoke wall ready and waiting for him though, so he can get that heal off. Looks like TSM has a good idea where Flux is as well.
He canceled the heal.
Oh no. The heal gets canceled and he goes down, and now it's just a matter of time. Flux is going to go down to the push from TSM. The flashbangs coming through. There's about 8 of them. Penta, or actually Purdy, going to be the one to do the honors, and that's a second win now for TSM.
And a decent kill count to add on top of that, and we were talking about that being the important factor coming into this one, with a few teams hovering around, well, at least looking very similar. TSM posting their second with 13 kills alongside it is actually huge in terms of the leaderboard.
Indeed it is, in the leaderboard, not only for this week, but when you start looking into PGC points and stuff like that, you're looking at Oath getting knocked back a little bit. Now, there's a ton of different scenarios. Oath obviously in the driver's seat going into this final day, but there are several scenarios that can play out that could knock them far enough down to where somebody else could take that overall lead. TSM getting a win here, that's one of those scenarios, Hybox. So we'll see what else TSM's got, but that is a really good game there.
It was, yeah, and again, TSM, one of the teams that opted to go into Valdemar, and like we say, sometimes that can be the demise, but they are the victors. They clean up Veritas on the way out, I still don't know. We didn't see, obviously, it happened off screen, but being able to move north from the position that we're in to just those 2 rocks and a couple of trees like we saw. But then Alo, MVP for me. The pressure he's able to create to force Dodge away from that head peak downhill. That was the play that ultimately got them to the late game. So massive credit due to Alo.
Yeah, I mean, making that push off the knock to get Alo right on their doorstep, and then, as you said, just opening the window for them. There's no shot, no reason that TSM should have ever been able to make it across that wide open field with Dodge 4 up in that compound. Somewhere along the line, Dodge lost one. I can't remember who to.
I think it's potentially to the third party from the north, 22. Yeah. 22 and Young Kings are obviously staring down, and I think that's honestly what kept them a little bit hesitant to really hold TSM.
Yeah, but turtling up, I think, just led to the inevitable for Dodge there. I mean, as soon as TSM was right on their doorstep, there was no real shot for anybody else to third party them. I mean, all the other teams were up to the north and couldn't really see past that compound. So, you got to, and at the same time, obviously credit to TSM for getting that win. Young Kings once again get to a Circle 9, and that's 5 games in a row, and they've gotten 3 wins in those games. Like, these guys are not letting off the gas here.
No, it's not. And I mean, again, this is one where they didn't really get in comfortably with numbers. So we'll have to see if this trend continues. Then I mean, eventually they're going to win a game again, right? If you get yourself to phase 9 4 times in one day, once again, you got to say you should win a couple of them.
You should definitely win a couple of them. Well, that's going to do it for game 1. We are going to get ready to get set up for game number 2. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have your analyst desk to break down that first one. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
A mensagem que eu posso deixar, agradecer a todo mundo aí que dá suporte diariamente, o pessoal que eu conheci dentro do jogo, amigos, as grandes amizades que levo até hoje.
Big shout out to anybody who's been supporting us. We've been getting a lot of love recently from, other teams, the casters, a lot of the fans watching.
Salve, galerinha. Meu nome é Spark. Vim chamar vocês aí pra torcer pra gente, pra torcer pela Dignita nessa final aí. E é isso, mano. Deixa sua torcida aí. Obrigado pelo suporte de geral. Tamo junto.
Yabadabadu.
I appreciate all the support from all the fans that are always there in chat, like helping us through the format, because when we watch the VODs, like that's what we see. We know who's there supporting us.
Thank you everybody for the support. Anybody who's watching PUBG Esports, supporting our team, SSG.
You guys have supported myself and my teammates just amazingly ever since and continue to do so.
Pro pessoal que torce pra gente, torce pras equipes do LATAM aqui, vocês podem esperar uma Crash muito mais preparada para esse torneio, podem esperar o melhor resultado possível.
Bueno, a todos nuestros fans les quiero decir que sigan apoyando porque tenemos con qué ganar. Estamos seguros de que podemos dar una muy buena actuación en esta final y bueno, que nos apoyen. Nosotros le vamos a devolver ese apoyo con buenas partidas, se lo prometemos.
Just to the fans, I guess, thank you a lot for the support in the chat.
E aí, gurizada, seguinte, queria agradecer a todo mundo que está torcendo por nós. Nós somos os underdogs aqui nessa final, mas é aquela coisa, né? Quando a gente jogou com os times daqui, a bala comeu, o time veio forte. Nós vamos agora jogar contra o NA, o estilo vai ser o mesmo. Eu queria agradecer a todos vocês por estar torcendo por nós e vamos dali.
Just jumped out the plane. Don't matter what we landed, cause I'm about to bring pain. You don't wanna push me, John Wick with the aim. Told my girl that I'm sleep, but I'm really on the game. Real talk, I put my all in this. This the only game I play, man, it's obvious. Treat this game like it's really a sport. About to put your boy on the PUBG report.
Oh, he did! You absolute mad lad!
It's pans, crossbows, and explosive.
You want to see that? Let's go.
Oh yeah! Let's get you leveled up. Damn, my setup sucks.
I did my time, or so I thought. Kill, survive, and run. Now it's your turn to hide.
Welcome back to the ESL PUBG Masters Americas. Game 1 is in the books. My name is Toffees. I'm joined by Matchup and Godspeed here on the desk as we break down all the action. And while TSM took the win, and congratulations to them, Godspeed, once again, the Young Kings sneak into that final 2.
Yeah, I mean, they've been incredibly impressive the last couple of days, man. There's really not much else to say. They've managed to make it to the end games, which was the problem that they had before in the past. Not only did they manage to make it to the end games, they managed to get some wins yesterday, obviously continuing the trend of making it to Phase 9 again. Yeah, I'm very curious what the ceiling is for these guys if this is how they're playing right now.
Definitely it will be fun to see, but let's take a look back at the last match. It's time for the champagne of replays. It's highlights.
Kicking it off with the Sonics fight here. There was a lot to be had over in this position. You can see Dodge coming over here, fighting for the locations pretty early, trying to defend this one up, because we saw so many pivotal moments happening along this hillside and the movements coming into this Godspeed.
Yeah, we did, and the crazy thing is that Dodge did decide to take this fight early against No Chance. They were able to win that fight, and they stayed in this compound pretty much the majority of the game, and I think you and I were talking about potentially having the best position, but TSM was able to take away from them. Meanwhile, Oath just kind of had a tear of their own going through SSG as well as numerous other teams, the other one being Dodge, if I'm not mistaken. Or not Dodge,
So many good
Gas Cans.
Molotovs. So many good Molotovs this game. Godspeed, I just loved it. Every second. Give me that one again, too.
Yeah.
Oh. I don't know. There's something about Molotovs.
This was huge clutch for Young Kings, and unfortunate for Dig. Oh, man, Dig, I'll talk about him later. I'll talk about him.
This is how Young Kings got into the end, by winning that off of the Molotov. And Alo, man, Alo has been on fire right now. And this dude is just murdering. And it's beautiful.
To echo Hypok, Alo was the star of the show for me as far as TSM this round. Like 100% between that push. Speaking of push, actually, we'll get to that in a second. Oath made a mad dash towards Gas Center to try to get rid of them. Balefrost with some disgusting shots. Fortunately, Sonics was there to third party that and get rid of them. But yeah, Alo was the reason they were able to so cleanly deal with Veritas, as well as we'll see here soon, able to deal with Dodge as well.
I hope that we get to see the push up the hillside. Right afterwards. But yeah, going back into that again, the step moving into this play where he was throwing down he threw down like 1 or 2 smokes, but it was after throwing down all the flashbangs to make sure that it forced Dodge back into this position and allowed them to move up into this aggressive point. I mean, this is the TSM you want to see. We keep hearing all this talk about like what their new game prep rituals are, and if whatever it is that they're doing, they just need to keep it up because they're starting to find success.
Yeah, something about just having a really full stomach and being well fed before the games, I agree, really helps. I really think as far as TSM goes, though, it still doesn't... they're not as crispy as they normally are, and that still is an issue for me. Like, yes, they had an amazing game. Obviously, Alo did a phenomenal job of putting them in those positions as far as getting the last 2 members up to fight Dodge. But it's not as clean. There's really nothing else for me to say. It's not as clean as they normally are.
Well, not as clean, but they come away with the chicken dinner. Deep fried chicken, nice and crispy for the moment. Maybe it'll continue. Alo 6 kills, Kickstart 5. Purdy and Penta coming in with 3s apiece. And I got to be honest, for me, Matt, when we look at this damage and stuff, it again shows that it seems like some of these teams are taking a little too long to be active in these late games. Dodge stayed very low for a long time. Young Kings, their last player literally just laid there and watched An1 try to take a fight, and TSM never did. They pushed that boulder downhill and never stopped.
Well, I think it comes down to 1, a difference in play style, and 1, a difference in shot calling. whenever we look at TSM, we know the shot caller there has
Yeah,
complete
that's
and
true.
utter faith in his players and will put them into positions he firmly believes that they are going to win. You know, Alo just didn't wander up to that position just like, oh, well, I guess I'll go here. That was an executed strategy coming out from TSM, and I love the way that they play. Whenever they're playing this way, it's just amazing to watch, and there's so many things you can take away from it.
But that's the problem, is that they're not playing that way for the majority of this event. Like, yes, that game they had was great. I really don't have many criticisms for that game at all, to be completely honest. But what I'm talking about as far as not being as clean and crispy, it's every other game, right? Where we see the potential or the ideas of what they're trying to accomplish, but they just kind of don't do it cohesively. And that's not something that I generally, or any of us, ever really say about the TSM FTX roster, right? They are very cohesive. And so aside from that last game, I still think TSM needs to kind of get back on that horse, so to speak, and really get clean again.
It feels to me like, I'm a big TSM stan. I've loved these guys. I've loved SDK. I've been watching them a long time, and I really buy in to their style, their cerebral approach to PUBG. But it seems a little bit to me like they're taking a while to transition to sort of what other teams have embraced, this sort of one big team fight, advance to the end game. Like, TSM has been a team that's been playing Moneyball for me, right? They have always looked to pick up kills when they need to, win sort of one thing at a time, and then look towards the next, here's how we win, let's play statistics. And I just don't know, does the modified format work with that style of sort of Moneyball PUBG, playing for the little bits until they make the big bits?
It can, but it requires you to still play into what your strengths are. Like, one of the things, we keep talking about Alo and how strong Alo is, and look at Alo doing these other things, but we haven't heard from some of the other players as frequently as we had in the past. Like, most notably, we know Penta's a strong player. We know Luke's a strong player, but we haven't seen them to the same level that we have been in the past. And I don't know if that's a readjustment in playstyle due to the format, or if that's just a readjustment in playstyle due to trying to accomplish new goals. That's kind of one of those murky areas until we get into the communication and the team tells us. I don't think that we can know for certain.
And I guess, well, I'm hard on them a little bit, Cosby. They just got to win. And the reality is that win jumped them all the way into fourth place, right? They are only a couple of they're a good amount of kills behind Oath, but the reality is one more win, and they actually jump into second, passing the gas cans based on performance. And then again, if TSM does what Young Kings did yesterday, they could just win outright this week. So that said, it just comes down to feeling the vibe and then I guess turning it on at the right times. And maybe they were just getting caught up or something.
I mean, maybe. Obviously, I'm a huge TSM FTX stan as well. There's no secret about that. But yeah, if the important thing for them to win is because they didn't even get any money last week. I mean, that's something that we need to bring up, right? TSM FTX did not even place last week. They got 9th. So they didn't place in the money. So this would be a huge boon for them at the very least to not, dethrone Oath, but at the very least get enough points for themselves, get some money for themselves. And again, PGC points, right? That's what they want. So ultimately, they still need to push forward, and they can do it. They can definitely do it.
And Matt, I think there's something else to be said here. PGC is not that far away, right?
Yeah.
And this idea that you need points, but also you need to build your legendary status. You want the drops that you own when you get to the big show, and the only way to do that is to have everyone else be scared of you. But we're going to talk about that, see if TSM keeps building their legend as we go into our second match of the day, our last round on Miramar with our casters is Porosaurus and Hypod.
Hello, everybody. Once again, it is Porosaurus, the unmuted champion of the world, along with Hypoc, who was most likely maybe muted at the same time, but being that I was muted, you got away with a free one. That's what I'm going to tell myself.
I don't make basic mistakes like that on there. You'd never catch me hitting the wrong button or anything like that.
Never, not once. Never happens. It's all a sham. But what isn't a sham? TSM does get that big first win with a nice little stack of kills. And do we think is the death being too hard on him, man?
Maybe a little. Yeah, a little. I mean, it's easy to harp on TSMs now. I mean, it's I make no excuses. I mean, the end of that segment we're talking about, they didn't place last week. True. So if we're going to leave it at that, and again, the thing with I mean, it's the same for TSM as it is Sonics for me over the last kind of 18 months, right? We talk expectations, we talk where we should be seeing them, right? And that's not been the case with TSM. So yes, maybe a little overcritical, but I definitely think there's there's something to be critical of, right? TSM haven't looked like themselves for a while, and I think really this is something we've seen develop over time. But even when we see a win out of them, it's rare we can look back and go, okay, cool, they're back, right? They're back on top, right? I mean, they come through and win this, right? They win another game after that, then we're gonna look like clowns. But that's what we're here to do, right? We're here to be proven wrong.
Yeah, and I mean, look, we talk we've talked a lot recently, and okay, sure, why not? Let's run it back.
Yeah, it's the second TSM win. Let's go. Best team in North America.
Weirdly enough, I was about to say, we talk a lot about teams that we expect to do really well, right? Like Sonics, like TSM, and how at least during this tournament, it's felt like when they're in really bad position, it used to be when they're in a bad position, we've gotten so used to seeing them fight their way out of it that we've gotten kind of spoiled by it, and so now it's kind of coming back down to earth a little bit. Well, that game, they had no right to make their way out of Itamar. Like, there was no shot.
No, they didn't. No, you're absolutely right. That actually is one of those spots where, I remember talking about this both yesterday and on the cast with you the other day, where this format change in particular has made TSM kind of reassess things, because it was so kind of almost iconic, right, to see TSM in a bad spot and just go, right, guys, don't worry about the circle, let's go frag, let's literally just put something up, right? And it was those salvage games, and the ability to constantly put up kill points that kind of offset their ability to, I don't want to say sacrifice placement, but almost not have to worry about it, right? And it comes back to that same ethos. It's always easier to kill teams that are focusing on trying to get into the circle when you're not bothered about getting into the circle. You're just bothered about getting kills, right?
Yeah.
And that's something that's a big change. You can't kind of just turn that off, right? So there's always going to be games where TSM are in spots where we usually see them just say, right, dump the vehicles, let's go on foot, let's clear the edge, let's frag our way in. And it's not going to work in this meta. It's not going to work in this lobby, because there are going to be teams that do you know what I mean?
Are places where they're not supposed to be.
Exactly, and actually on the flip side of that, there's the other side of the coin, which is these other teams that have just gone now full on. Okay, we play center, right?
Yeah.
We don't want to deal with all that nonsense on the edge.
Yeah. I mean, if nothing else, what I took from that last game was that I finally got to see TSM in a bad position that there's no way that they should have gotten out of, get out of it. And they not only get out of it with a win.
I'm sorry, but you put 12 other teams in this lobby in that position, they don't make it uphill. That's a simple fact, right? And that's really what sets TSM apart.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we've been talking about TSM for a hot minute now.
I won't name the 12 other teams. Don't worry about it.
Looking at the circle. Okay, so running it back, right? One of the things, this is now going to be 2 games in a row on Miramar where Gas Cans gets prio on wherever they really want to play. I mean, after looting up in Vitamar, last game we saw them go out a little bit earlier. This time, it looks like they're trying to reposition right now. Young King's already on the move and may run into those gas cans here in a second. But Sonics, meanwhile, a Cresce. Again, people being in places where you don't expect them to be.
Yeah, this could become problematic here. It looks like actually,
I think they spotted him. So I think they know he's there. KSH. I mean, he's taking some damage.
Okay, but why are we going for this kill? Like, is this is asserting dominance? Like, Sonics are an early rotating team, but they're already 30 seconds off the pace here in my eyes. Like, this isn't an active hold on their rotation. I feel like they can divert this comfortably. They could leave, but yeah.
But they're sticking it around, and why? Yeah, I think that's a really extremely valid question. When you talk about all these teams that are, complaining, I guess, for the lack of a better word, of teams doing things that they don't particularly expect them to do. You brought it up last game. I mean, you have the option to try to bail on that, and TSM actually doing that right here. Kind of. Actually, Penta got picked off by all of No Chance and now has to dip out to the east while the rest of his team makes their way west.
Nah, he can cross the bridge. take the long road.
Take
he
the
can go
long way.
all the way around through Los Egos. Because, I mean, the other thing is the other side of this, Kurt's going to get into Valdemar. Gas cans have already moved out, so that gives them a little bit of breathing space, a little bit of time to at least ensure Penta can regroup. You can see here he's heading back towards that bridge straight away.
Oh, yeah.
So,
and
no chance as well. Yeah, going to head north. Lots of teams, again, clustering towards the east side of this, and this happened in the last game. We all know where the last game ended, but
True.
It's interesting here to see how many teams are going to commit. And when I say commit, if you go to one of those 2 points of high ground either side of that valley, it's very difficult to get away from that spot, especially when it's this congested. So, I mean, I'm looking at SSG again because they're split, and we know that was their demise in the previous game. I'm hoping history doesn't repeat itself so soon, because there's a lot more teams prioritizing center here.
Yeah, going for that valley.
And we know what
split.
Circle 2 does, right?
Yeah, exactly. And well, Circle 2 has just been easy as pie, hasn't it? This whole tournament, really.
Yeah, as expected. I've seen no surprises. Actually, I've been completely bored every time Circle 2's popped.
None whatsoever. Well, this Circle 1 did play a lot further off to the west. Excuse me.
All
right. Yeah, sure. Well, Sonics took their time getting away from Cresce, and they end up finding a free Emmy. So that's a nice little come up, I guess, as they work their way to the north of Chumacera. Rest of Fiumba still hiding out in Chumacera. They don't look like they really want a piece of this. No Vengeance tour will be taking place anytime soon. As
sorry, I've just spent the last 10 seconds looking at the map, thinking, what was going on there?
I don't know. Man, this is okay. So, what's the worst possible Circle 2 we could get off of this? You think hard north?
The worst? No. Hard west as it can go.
Hard west as it can go.
Yeah.
That would be pretty bad. And speaking of pretty bad, SSG will take a knock there. It looks like they'll get the res off.
Yeah,
fairly easy. But that's again kind of what you're touching on with SSG. That those 2-2 splits, those wide 2-2 splits in a situation like this, where everyone is going to be just filing in here. Taking up every position they can find, and look at this NC coming in super late. What is this?
Well,
Why
this
is he
is
there by himself?
Peeling away from. Is Kill Demo?
Get on out of there, my dude.
Yeah.
I mean, we talk about SSG split. Look at Trog.
That's a little greedy. Yeah, I mean, he's got away with it, but this is the problem, right? Is when you kind of spread like this, and yes, it's okay to have a vehicle and retreat there, but you run the risk, man, of a team of 4 just sending it in, right? And they've been shot at by 3 or 4 other teams in transition, and they're like, guys, first compound we see that doesn't shoot us, let's hit it. And if you're split and you're one person there, like, yeah, okay, you might get 1 or 2 knocks, potentially a little damage on the way in, but if a full 4-man pulls up on you, it doesn't often go your way. So unless you have a split that really complements like both sides of it and both compounds can cover each other, it's just not worth it in my eyes. If you're going to try and dive center and get a compound that you're saying, yeah, we're comfortable playing from this towards the late game, don't split.
Well, they're going to do it again as Kildemo leaves the compound that Exex was in to go and take another compound. And so, okay, not the worst shift that we could possibly gotten, but
that's up there though. That's like top 3. That's top 3.
A lot of teams are going to be on the move right now. 303 has that dead center spot, but that hard north shift is definitely going to be tough for these teams off to the south. Looking at TSM, looking at Gascan, Sonics already on the move. They've got Oath just off to their north here, but for the most part, they've got a free passageway through La Joria, which looks like where they're heading here. Biznaga goes down to the blue. Not sure what happened there. That might have been perhaps another unfortunate disconnect issue there. It's 22 just suffering them back to back now, it seems, as Veritas and Fiumba going to share a compound for the time being. Songjing is a million miles away for Fiumba.
Yeah. Basically on another map as the two members, DraftKings and Silzen, looking to pressure Veritas inside. JR actually looked like he was on the outside downstairs there. This one didn't go in. Second will go in, but no damage just done. Going to try and get this nade in the ground floor. A little hesitant actually with the utility placement there, and Veritas is going to duck on out of this. They're going to give this up.
Yeah, and to be fair, I think that is the 100% the right play. This is a compound. It's got high ground. It's great, sure, but it's on the very edge of the circle. Most likely.
Where do you go from there?
But where do you go? Yeah, that is the good question. Looks like they're not going too terribly far. No farther than they were able to scout, and they'll be able to find it. Luke 12, meanwhile, this is on the very, very southern end of this circle. They've caught gas cans in the 2-2. Gas cans, for their part, never really tried to rotate. They're just going to take their time, see what all's in front of them. But unfortunately for them, I don't think they know that there's something right behind them. Not a bad spot for Sonics here. Over in Ladria, nobody really pressuring them on that high ground. Roth going to get a nice little knock onto Fiumba. I think, yeah, the rest of Fiumba are, well, the last remaining player of Fiumba, Songjing, finally arrived on that compound after Veritas left, and now Luke 12 starting to show a little interest. Hikerman, they're going to know, and gas cans. Oh, Adam has a nice angle.
It is a slow approach from TSM. I think now, again, another example of possibility of splits like this getting punished. I'm still not going to force the issue. I don't think they've read this entirely. Yeah, and it's a wide split, so it's difficult to read, Poro.
Yeah, I mean, it's two individual 2-2s. I mean, if Purdy and Luke decide to push this, they're going to be doing it as a duo with no real backup from Alo or Penta, as they're kind of working on that other side of the valley, or the road, rather. More utility comes through, a little bit of damage on a Hikerman, but nothing too serious, as we see in the picture-in-picture. 303 also has a neighbor, a very close neighbor, in Troglodytes right underneath them.
Well, you say 303, you mean Feisker, right? Well, each one's okay. I didn't see the second upstairs. Okay, I thought it was 3 over to the west there, but
yeah, it's and here comes the rest of Trog.
Yeah,
so yeah, they want this. They've got 4 deep. The new circle's popped, and this is looking pretty tasty for them. We'll see if 303 can hold them out for the time being. The smokes will slow down the push. H11 Jr. will take some damage. Now Feiska's gonna get flashed at the perfect time, and he goes down immediately. H11 Jr. gonna go down as well, but that's gonna be the sparking from range as he tried to escape.
Killdemo will find XX somehow in the middle of the smoke, I guess, but yeah, I'm not actually sure if that was a self flash or not. The timing on that, tried to underhand a flash into that smoke and tried to slip out through the back door, but that's unfortunate. TSM now making moves as well. They've headed the west side of the road here. Dodge again. For the second time they encounter TSM in as many games, but we'll have to see. Because Dodger split once again. Now, we know what problems that caused them in the early game, but they were able to recover, right? They were able to come downhill quick enough to prevent any damage coming through. I'm seeing gas scans fall in the kill feed, and that's no chance, actually.
To no chance. No chance actually pushing up his 4 from the low ground, and they eat him alive. I think gas cans was... I want to say they were looking at SSG, maybe? They were trying to make the push from the south side, and SSG was in their way, and they just... no chance, just sneaking up right behind them, and quick and easy, take out 2. The other duo from gas cans trying to make their way on the south side, but they're very close to Young Kings. SSG, meanwhile, they're just going to send it, try to get a little bit farther north. They've been playing this south side for so long. and not really liking it anymore. So they'll try to get a little bit farther, see if they can scout out something to play in the future here. As the dip is right on the other side of 303, but 303 for their part just gonna play it quiet.
The Young Kings down to 2. Well, let's see. Public still bleeding out, but somehow Nikos and Adam still up. Gascans were a little split when No Chance did push on them. We'll have to see where this next circle's going to post. It does actually pull southwest. So TSM, like I said, actually going to find themselves right in between this dodge split. And I think they figured that out, Paro.
Yeah, you can see them looking in both directions here. And actually, I think they may have spotted out 22 on the hill. No Chance, meanwhile, the death ball just making their way over every ridge they can see and trying to spot out any teams. Nothing to be found just yet, although they do have Veritas close to them on their east. Is Kickstar gonna find some nice damage into Sparking? He said, sir, don't shoot at me through that doorway. I can take that shot right back at you. The rest of Oath still outside of circle, but this is a nice little footstep or a little foothold that they found in here, although Sonics is working high just above them. But Akreche, Fiumba also still off to the east there, so Oath may have some company here soon. They need to get these guys back together as quickly as they can.
This is the situation been monitoring over on the west side.
Well, I mean, hey, you got to give TSM, I think they've read what's going on, but they just are going to play it close to the vest for the time being. And here we go, Fiumba trying to make their way across the street. DraftKings gets left behind because all they have is the buggy. Akreche deciding to go work a little bit farther to the south, and they're going to run right into Veritas. They get one knock, but 2 down now. RBN and KSH, the only 2 up still. They're going to try to smoke the boys off, see if they can finish off what's left of Veritas, maybe get these reses up. But no, RBN going to get spotted up by Danny G. KSH. Now the last one up is 3 of Veritas. We're just too widely split here. It took too long for Akreche to kind of figure out what was going on and where the players were. And by the time they got an idea of what was going on, it's just far too late. Veritas cleanly picking this up.
There are way too many angles to worry about.
Ooh, maybe not.
Okay, yeah, Ethan will fall. Catch this first aid kit though. Making it difficult here for Veritas. Danny G now way out in the open. JR tagged up.
Yeah, I'm not sure if No Chance got involved from behind, but No Chance all of a sudden down to 1.
Yeah, Sonics were punishing them from distance. I saw that in the kill feed as this fight was going on. Yeah, you can see TSM and Dodge have a line of sight as well.
Abel just wondering what he's got to do to avoid people at this point, just survive a little bit longer. 22 has managed to sneak in from that northern side, and Ace 10 has spotted out Sonics. Sonics look like they're going to get the knock onto Trog, and we're just trading knocks here at range at this point, as we are down to 42. 14 teams remaining, but that's a hard shift. Holy moly. Oh, got drafting.
Good night.
He drew the short straw, unfortunately, when Fiumba had to make their rotation. They only had 2 seats in the buggy, and DraftKings said, no, you guys go.
You go on without me.
Go on without me. Tell my wife I love her. Oh, no. Okay, Luke's going to get taken down, but Finna will get wiped. Luke should be resable, I think. You can see him just behind the scoreboard there. Doesn't look like anybody's shooting over in that direction. Hello Senpai going to get spotted by Jube. So Versus landing some good shots through the windows. But I'm keeping my eyes on this map here, looking to see. You got Sonics and Oath and Dignitas all kind of off on the east, and Troglodytas that all have to make moves in. I'm just wondering where you go.
The problem is 303 and SSG have very good control.
Yeah.
On the south side of this circle here. Young Kings now coming in this early is going to allow both SSG and 303 potentially to pressure out here, but actually TSM Should say Luke 12 actually going to find a line of sight onto Roth. That's going to weaken one of the teams that's in one of those gatekeeping positions. Oath on the wild send. Let's see where they end up.
Yeah, it looked like they were heading for a shack. We all know how much Oath likes to put 4 deep in shacks, and the shack was not available, so they're going to crash right into verses. And no, Artre with the perfectly timed grenade will find 2, but Relo and Kickstart still on the hunt. The shots are coming in from TSM. The wipe will come through onto 1. Jube will land a nice Molotov. Relo on fire, making his way around the outside of the building. They know he's damaged. They know he's hurt. They're going to finish him off. Nicely done. Hold well from verses off the beautiful grenade.
Yeah, that pre-nade. Perfectly timed, as you said. Sonic's now trying to make the same transition, or at least similar here. See where they end up. I think they're going to crash towards Versus. They know the Versus have got weakened, but no, actually going to find the backside of this ridge. Now, nobody initially pressuring this, but 303 will find H-Win actually trailing towards the back, and mine will fall as well.
That's going to be 22 from range that actually gets mine. That should be resable for them. The smokes are down now. T-Plants, meanwhile, going to try to find some utility off of those bodies from Oath. We'll send it over in the direction towards Dignitas. Only 2 from Dig have made this push. Honeybad, you can see, is still holding down from range. The problem here for Dignitas is more 22. Has a nice little line of sight into their backs, which is why the smoke cloud is down. Troglodytes does get finished off. We'll see if Versus can continue to hold on to this compound. They're going to aggress on it a little bit harder. T-Plants gets flashed. Oh, Shinboy will find it. Juve has to go in to try to come up with a push. He'll find 1. Yes, he will. What?
Eventually.
I think oh my God, Jube. Jube gets 2 of them, and Dignitas falling apart again.
Oh, no. Oh, not like this. It's another scenario where we see Dignitas fall, and again, we'll park that for a moment here because SSG and Sonics find themselves in the same compound here. SSG sweeping through. Actually, we'll take the first knock here, and Sonic's looking to punish. Oh, Shrimsy just caught that molly.
Oh dear, the smokes are on fire. Shrimsy face. We'll get the knock of the Keenan, and now it's all down to Sharp Shot. As the smokes come through, nice shots from Sharp Shot. Doesn't matter. Shrimsy will land the perfectly placed nade, and now Sonic should have plenty of time to get this res back up and get on their way to make their way into the circle. Although, where do you even go at this point? Young Kings have 2 on the roadside. Again, Young Kings finding late game. They just have a nose for it right now. They're playing so patiently. And Honey Badger. Just the anchor position.
Yeah.
I just don't understand when you're crashing a building late game like that. It just,
I mean, I guess this
never
was the
seems
plan
to pay off.
This is the plan the whole time along, I guess. It's just, again, to stack your chips in this way, I don't get it. Because if you look at the threats on the north side, 22 are never going to push through, right? They should be moving to get control of the compound, give themselves some access to the next circle.
Yeah.
And yes, you could argue there's no way that Versus should ever 1v2 there. They should never find both kills there. But
I mean,
why
it's a
even run the
2v2.
risk?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, anything can happen, you know? One misplaced flashbang or one just well-placed Molotov. It just seems to be way higher risk. And speaking of high risk, Sonics, they find Young Kings. Oh, that almost was the end of him. As you see, Tingleton and Mime are almost done. Shrimsy does get flushed. Mime should as well. Tig going to be the last one remaining as TSM just gobbling up whatever's left. They have so much real estate to work with here. They know that Dodge is in the compound. They just avoid the line of sights of Dodge for the time being. Where is Jube going?
And the problem is now the fact that the way this circle's played out and all of the, oh no, Jube catches this nade. I don't think it's far enough. That is optimistic at best, but I respect the effort.
No. Credit where credit is due, Jube.
Yep. I mean, I was just about to say here that the problem being that obviously Dodge have been forced into the compound, and with all of this pressure now being alleviated, TSM have free roam. They have so much space, like you said.
The circle has moved, so TSM will have to get on the move once again. Oh, they want to flush Sonics, but now Badger putting himself in a good position here. Tig does get the heal off. Does Luke know he's down there? Luke, no! Oh, he peeked up just in time, and Tig tries to go for the push, but Luke's ready. And now TSM on the move. They're going to go for the roadside position here, but Honey Badger, they've got to take care of this, man. He is causing problems for the time being. 22 also slowly starting to make their way down. Looks like TSM has a line onto them, doing some big damage onto Vinny. Raji Wow going to be the last one there. Honey Badger, I think, realizing his best shot is to try to make it across the road. With no smokes, it's not going to work very well, and Penta will clear that up.
And TSM actually now do what they do best. Rotating towards some loot crates, get themselves some utility back up online. Let's see, gotta be careful here. Look at the response from Halo, though.
That man is on.
Two
right
members
now.
of 22 down to sub 20 HP. TSM 9 kills on the board. Dodge have actually backfilled them. Look at the minimap here, Paro.
And Jube gonna spot Luke, as they had no idea that this man from Versus has made his way up. Dodge, as you said, leaving the compound, trying to wrap around. Halo will clean it up, but Dodge, as you said, in perfect position to start third partying this. Meanwhile, 22 gonna make their way, make the run. Vinny will try to find Purdy. He does. Well-placed Molotov should flush out those two, as Halo and Penta will still try to work on the smokes from the ridge line. 22 now need to push into Dodge. This could be good news for TSM.
Good, yeah, if 22 can do some damage to Dodge at least. 22 actually holding on to a central position here, at least towards phase 7 closing out. I don't think TSM are going to be able to recover and get Kurt back on his feet, but like I said, if 22 can do any damage to Dodge, it will make things a lot easier for TSM.
The problem for TSM is that Dodge has basically just retreated to the compound, and so 22 is going to look at that and say, okay, well, that's going to be much harder to try to pick them out. Now they're going to get another knock on a Halo. It's all down to Penta. This is a much easier fight to clean up on this side for 22, but Penta not going down without a fight will find Raji Wow, and this is actually shaping up well for Dodge. Repositioned into the compound with 22 on notice. They're going to take the shots. They're going to find Hayes 10. Vinny now the last one up. Halo up for TSM. Dodge 3 strong.
Penta's going for the res.
They can clutch this out. Penta, oh, if he can get that res, that'd be huge. Vinny actually going for the res on a Hayes 10 as well.
Oh, he's throwing a smoke just away from it in case they try and molly this, but I feel like a nade will clean this up. Do they spot him? They do. Yeah, they spot Kurt.
Just as he gets up, they spot him. Vegas with the quick eyes. Is he? No.
They got no more nades, so that he can stick this, yeah.
They're going to do it. They're going to do it. Lampalot will find it. The flush on the Hayes 10, and they'll find Vinny. And that might make things a little bit more complicated now for TSM. Penta still alive, holding, flashed. Kurt going to try to go for the heal, but 2v3. TSM won these before. Vegas going to do some damage underneath at the toesies. Now he comes around, but no, Penta will find it. The trade will come through. Lampalot will get him. Kurt, though, very, very low. As Hello Senpai and Lampalot taking multiple lines of sight here. Muzzle fire. Hello Senpai, I believe, is going to be the one that gets it. Dodge will get their win, their first win of the tournament.
Yeah, and I mean, toppling TSM at the final hurdle, I'll be honest, at the point where Dodge, like I said, had to stay in the compound there, and it allowed TSM just free roam, the opportunity to wrap along that south side, and I think maybe going a little, a little overzealous, if I'll be honest. Obviously, getting punished by a snake is something you never want to see for a team that's building that much momentum towards the late game. But yeah, a little bit of split focus, I'd say. Obviously, trying to deal with Tiggleton, and then was who's the other member from the Versus?
Grappo.
It was
Grappo.
Yes, it was. Yeah, up snaking in the center there. And like I said, Dodge played it perfectly. They obviously wrapped backfilled TSM in that position, and ultimately that's what won them the game there. They were able to deny all that control after TSM had it through phase 6 and 7, I believe.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, TSM was looking fantastic all the way through that game, but as you said, just the butterfly effect of late game PUBG that you see. I mean, Dodge was looking like they were wanting to do that push onto TSM from the high ground, which would have been a good call until 22 started coming around, and then Dodge said, okay, let's not overstep our boundaries here. Let's pull back into the compound. We'll see if we can get 22 and TSM to fight. Then we'll come in third party on that. free and easy. That's how it plays out, and that's how they get their win.
Yeah, it was. There's, again, a couple of other, funky circle again. We could say history repeats itself with a few teams, losing a play here and there on the edge. But, it's heartbreaking to see Sonics have to, again, make a weird rotation, right? And timed perfectly on the back of Oath obviously pulling up to try and weaken one of the compounds in the circle there. But, just at the point where there's 2-3 compounds to play on the east side of the road, there's just so few options, right? You have to sit there, you have to hold on to the edge as long as you possibly can. It creates this really, really weird kind of shift from where things should happen, right, towards the end of Circle 3 into Circle 4, where actually we're looking at Circle 5, there's people 4 up in vehicles sending it towards the circle.
And for their part, you got to give credit to 22 as well. I mean, they were controlling so much of how that late game had to play out from that northern spot on the road. Just really well-placed shots, really a lot of damage being sent out from those guys. And in the end, I mean, that's kind of what was the end of Sonics, really. Although TSM, I think, may have had some say into it. But, 22 had just complete control over that road and just created so much chaos for everybody as they were trying to make those late game rotations and transitions over to that roadside. But yeah, again, just a crazy late game circle, hard shifts that were just brutal stuff. Dodge comes out on top and in a combination of just good shot calling and a little bit of circle favor there, circle luck that they had that compound. So, but that's going to do it for game 2. That's going to do it for Miramar. Wanted to let you know that it is now time. You guys asked. PUBG listened. A brand new 8x8 map set in South Korea. Available to play on PUBG now. It is Taego. So make sure you go and play some Taego now. We are going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have more from the analyst desk.
Joey, wake up. I want to play some PUBG, man. Joey, wake up, man.
Yeah, I'm
play
ready.
some games.
I'm ready to play some PUBG, man.
Welcome back to the ESL PUBG Masters Americas. Game 2 is gone, and Joey's not the only one who's awake. It seems like some top teams like TSM have finally woken up and gotten into the mix. Gentlemen, it was a good last match. The top three of the top 4 were also 3 of the top 4 in the last game before that. So it seems like some teams definitely coming alive. Let's take a look back at how we got there. It's time for the highlights.
Oh, there were some rotation problems at the beginning of this. Let's be real. As you can see, VS having a little bit of trouble. I think that we are also probably going to see the rotation issue where Sonics... Oh, no, we didn't even see that one, where Sonics just ran right into poor MA and just instantly downed him.
Yeah, from FIBA. I mean, there was a lot of really scrappy fights that happened early on. It's nice to see, no chance to be completely honest, get some knocks and frags here. They've really been struggling here. Cresce, unfortunately, had a very rough game. They fell to Veritas there on the southeast edge. And I mean, we've talked about the circle time and time again, Matt. These ones are really hard to play, especially with that road splitting this kind of ravine or valley in two. It's hard to get across, and we saw that.
I want to do a quick shout out to Shrimsy, who has been performing quite well for Sonics right now. Jube, though, by surviving here, actually plays a pivotal role in what is to come, because remember, TSM rotation is going to come here in a little while, and this hold where he just continues to survive is going to be the undoing of TSM here in just a little bit.
Yep, it will be the undoing indeed. TSM, meanwhile, by the way, had a really phenomenal position. They had done a lot of damage early. Fortunately, it wasn't enough, and we actually saw Dodge do a really good job of wrapping and taking control of the circle, to be completely honest.
I mean, Dodge played this well. This is one of the things they managed to avoid the close range danger of Halo this time. And just look, Hello Senpai up on the top of this, getting control angles around it. Lampalot playing off one angle. Vegas crawling back down to feed information. This is just very well controlled. And remember, we saw multiple attempts at reses coming into play at this stage that were regularly denied. So TSM didn't get the opportunity to get that pivotal res, so that way they could take it into the last team fight, and we're just on a back foot for almost the entirety of the fight with Dodge.
It's a big come away as Dodge does get themselves the win. 7 kills and a chicken dinner. TSM coming in right behind them with a good kill count. And TSM gonna be pretty happy with that right now, guys, because they're at that point with 2 chickens in the bank where they want to sort of rack up those kill counts and build a little bit of a cushion. They are gonna be
Pretty happy, but the problem is they only have 1 dinner, right? And in order for them to jump up even just a second, they're gonna need to get that, or excuse me, they have to. They want to get that 3rd so they can get, first place. Regardless, looking at the damage, I mean, even Sonics, who did go out a little earlier, Shrimsy has been, as you stated, absolutely incredible this entire event. Even when things have gone kind of awry and a little south for Sonics, Shrimsy's been there.
All right, overall standings, the Kings are still on top, but TSM FTX is close. 2 chickens in the books, 61 kills, very, very close. Also, though, Matt, Oath not far off the pace. They only have 1 chicken, but their kill counts are astonishing. So if they can get another 1 or 2, it's a race with TSM.
There are a couple of teams we need to realize can be like, I guess, late bloomers, for lack of a better term. We have seen Dodge, if you remember back at last PCS, that was capable of stacking several very important wins back-to-back whenever it really, really mattered for them. And also, I mean, let's be real, TSM is playing very well today. So there is the capabilities for them to potentially pick up another chicken dinner. Whenever we're looking at the entirety of the way that this is going to shape up for PGC, I'll be honest, I don't know. There's still too many variables at this stage, and the teams that we need to see be performing are right now.
Let me ask you about a variable. And I'll reference that we're changing maps, so that may change things up. That's a variable we could talk about, Erangel. But here's the variable I wanted to ask you about, Godspeed. The allegations of a group stage curse that recently rose to conversation, TSM being the recipient of that twice, and then Sonics won group stages, and I made a joke like, haha, this is great, it'll prove there's no such thing as a curse, because the Sonics obviously will do really well and probably win this week, and they're not. Are you a superstitious man? Do you believe in a curse? Do you wear the same underpants to every game?
No, because that would be disgusting, but
There's no Smash players here.
I get that reference. It's hard to say because maybe I want to say that TSM and even Sonics like have come in from group stage wins before, and I don't want to assume that the reason they don't do well in the event itself is because of overconfidence, but it's starting to become a thing, I guess. Whoever wins group stages just really struggles in the event. I don't want to say it's a curse, though. I don't know, man. It's so weird.
Is it a curse or is it a self-fulfilling prophecy at this stage? Almost feels like the way that we're
you know what?
looking
I'm
at
just gonna go with no comment. I don't know. No comment.
He's gonna go with the no comment. All right, I like that. So let's talk about the end of that match. Young Kings was not in the mix at the end there, Matt, but it was the same three. 22 TSM and Dodge in the mix. 22 hasn't gotten a lot of talk this week, so let's talk about them for just a second, because 2 games now, they were, if not close to winning, the difference maker.
Well, yes. I would say that they were there, but they tend to play a little bit too passive to really be the difference maker, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, whenever we see them, they don't take that moment. It's one of the things that we're kind of looking at. We're seeing Latin America tend to stay in a pack and want to take a fight whenever they're all prepped. And North America kind of spreading out and leaning into the fact that we know Alo can take this fight. So Alo, you hold down that corridor. We know Tickleton, you can hold that down. And I feel like it's a contrast of meta to a certain degree. And 22 on the more passive end of the Latin American grouping.
Alo has been doing great, Godspeed. In a lot of ways, I'm a little worried about his back.
He definitely has been performing very well. And I would say, yes, the other members of TSM FTX have not necessarily stepped up the way they have in the past. I just think it's a rough event for them. You know, I'm not going to give them any excuses. They have obviously not played as well as we expect. I mean, I chose them to win this event, so I'm a little disappointed too, which I'm sure they are. But at the very least, today they're playing very well. This week, they've definitely stepped it up. I'll say that. TSM FTX has definitely stepped it up this week. So I hope they continue to get back to where they were.
Let me ask you real quick, Matt, who has been your favorite surprise of the event? I know you worked both weekends, so I want to know, like, overall, who's really caught you off guard and you love about it?
I'm glad you didn't ask me for a prediction, because we're talking about curses, and it seems like every single time I make a prediction, it goes sideways. So the moment you're like, let me get a prediction from you, I was like, no, don't do it. Don't do it.
Of course never.
I have to say Fiumba, man. Let's be real. I know a lot of the players, and I've casted them across multiple events going all the way back to Broadcaster Royale in some cases. Great players, but the synergy that they have has been quite surprising for me, and I'll admit, I was kind of sleeping on him before this.
Okay.
Same.
You brought it up, and honestly, you talked about synergy. I've got some synergy for you. It's the synergy of the finest casting pair in the world, who will be taking us all the way from the drop to the big V. It is our casting duo of Porosaurus and Hypoc.
Well, thank you. Hello, once again, it is I, Porosaurus. It is he, Hypoc, and we are getting ready to head over onto Erangel. And man, this I gotta say, like, my math brain, my lizard brain can't deal with all
Smooth brain.
It's glass like, to be fair. Like, just how much stuff is really on the line in these last 2 games in terms of not just prize money and week 2 and where everybody's standing, but in terms of those PGC points. So much stuff gonna be decided here in this last couple of games.
It is, yeah, and I think it's a real positive to. I gotta say, obviously, we were a little, as a talent team, we were a little critical after obviously TSM's win, but this is much better already. If we take just a snapshot these first 2 games, right, if they can bring that intensity across to Erangel here, there's a real chance for them to make a push to the top. Because again, it comes back to that kill count here. That's the important factor here with gas cans and. Young Kings obviously still lagging behind. They have a lot of ground to make up, even if there's one win trade either way.
And we'll see how Erangel plays out now that we've seen our circle of. We traditionally today have been going southwest, so why not go southwest once again? This time Kreche will find themselves right in the middle versus a little bit split. Not sure where Jube is going. He's on a worldwide tour over there towards the west coast. 303 down to the south. Young Kings in there as well. I want to give a shout out to Dodge as well. That win did a lot for them. That's, you know, in terms of, you know, maybe not just today or this weekend really, but in terms of overall and pushing them up and getting them more PGC points, that win might have secured them a PGC spot. Maybe. It's close. I mean, we still have a whole tournament to go, right? But it's put them pretty securely in that top 4 spot.
Put them in contention. I think that's fair to say, and it's crazy as well. It's very rare that we ever have a PUBG series that, like, we think about the bigger picture, right? What effect it has and a knock on, and coming down to the last few games and seeing that, you know, there's actually only really one win separating some of these teams, but it's things like that make things really, really interesting when you think about obviously further down the line and what things mean outside of just the prize pool for this weekend.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough, man, because it's constantly updating and constantly, you know, moving around, and then, you know, we're looking at prize money being the thing that sets us our final leaderboard up, and so you got to think back to last week and then possibilities for this week. It's just difficult to kind of keep track of. We'll have it all for you, obviously, at the end of the day, and we'll get it all squared away. But I got to tell you, man, Gas Cans, Dignitas, and Space Station Gaming, they are neck and neck. Kind of at that cut line for PGC points. So the more that these guys can do in these last 2 games, the better it's going to be for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm getting worried, man. Do you remember when we had back-to-back quarry circles? Do you remember that?
I do remember that.
Okay.
I remember.
That's all I'll ask.
Why?
That's what I was planting the seeds. Just, you know, managing expectations.
You keep your horticulture to yourself, all right? Planting seeds all over the place. Can't have that. We don't want to plant seeds for anything that awful. As we see a young Tig on a hill, watching US's drive by, as in his youth. The Robert Frost poem here about to break out somewhere. I just don't know what it is. Okay, there we go. H1 and Trimsy will come and join him, and he'll let him know, hey, coast is clear.
Young King's thinking about coming back for this, or at least contesting it.
I feel like Young Kings might be the first and only LATAM team that I've seen that will avoid fights in the early game and just say, hey, you know what? We've had such great success getting to the late game. Let's not screw with that. That's a pretty good formula.
They're kind of like, guys, this is really weird. Like, we make it to late game and we don't want to mess with rotations in Circle 1. It's almost unknown territory. Like, guys, we've got 3 wins. What's going on?
This is great. I can see them in the LATAM Discord and be like, guys, you're never going to figure out what we learned.
You will never believe me when I tell you.
If you don't lose somebody in Circle 1. They've figured it out. The formula has been broken.
They've cracked the code.
They've cracked the code indeed. Well, see Troglodytes making their way up to Everest. Veritas, meanwhile, getting real close to Versus here. Versus gonna do a fair bit of peacocking, and it looks like it should pay off as the Veritas boys will avoid them altogether. Keep in mind, Veritas still have one way off on the western coast in Jube, who's
that's a split. That is a split right there. I only just noticed that it was green. I didn't notice. Is that an AFK drop?
It might have been.
Where did the plane end up?
I mean, he was controlling his drop, so I mean, I could see the parachute. He was moving around. I think he might have just been. He
was playing for the West Circle. I respect it. He was playing for the lighthouse finish. Out of the plane.
Well, now Versus has a foothold on the western coast. We'll see if it plays out for him. Troglodytes, after doing a little bit of casual scouting from the top of Everest, run right into our tray. Take a few shots, but nothing too significant here, as we see pretty much everybody has started to make their way in. Gas Cans coming in a little bit late from Millie. Oath is going to do the long wrap from Milta down to Millie and come over that western bridge. Dignitas actually kind of in between 22 in the middle of their rotation, and now No Chance and Fiumba might run into each other on the north side. So we've got a few long wrappers that are kind of coming close there. 22 just hanging out in Watertown as one does.
This is interesting. Well, sorry to just come back to this. Just looking at Cresce's position here, looking to kind of repeat their successes in another one of those quarry circles, which was holding onto God Compound and holding onto that compound that's just north outside of Quarry. So we'll have to keep an eye on how that develops for them, as Shrimsy and H-Win going to get low and slow here, start creeping up towards Vegas. They've got decent info here, and actually, yeah, Shrimsy going to open up. Vegas finally falls, and he's actually here solo, so that will be confirmed. No chance of the res coming through. Again, you can see Sonic's just like, there's probably something. There's got to be somebody else with him, right? Throw everything.
That is a gun-shy Sonics team right there. They have been screwed over so many times early game. They are not willing to risk that push there to confirm that kill. They will get it, however. Mime will put his big boy pants on and go and take those last two shots. Lampalot caught off a little bit here as the rest of the boys have kind of headed down south, as Sonic's just scouting around, seeing what's around here. Tig is still off to the north in the compound, just to the south of Chopsticks. Sharp Shot, the SSG boys, going to be traversing up to the hillside here. Nice spot to hold down if you can get it, and it looks like they should.
Yeah, Young Kings and Dodge sending shots up, but nothing will come of it. Actually, interesting enough, the hangar, the warehouse just to the south of SSG's position, is completely unoccupied. And again, expect a team like Oath or Gascans who are coming in from the south side to at least scout along that that southern road. There's lots of space here. Again, I mean, anything other than a hard north, you're going to find yourself something to play from if they're there early enough and they can find that information. No Chance are camping the bridge in
of course they
South George.
Of course they are. And they're going to get one off of an Emmy. This is oh
no
my God.
Way. What am I watching? What?
This is turning into what could be referred to as classic No Chance.
Vintage. I'd say actually.
No Chance.
Like a
being in the
like a fine wine.
just
Never gets old.
Nobody expects them to be there. No. You're not camping the George Bridge. All right. Let's get a quarry circle.
Yeah.
You had to say it. You had to plant the seed, didn't you?
I'll see your quarry circle and I'll raise you one Primorsk circle.
Maybe we'll get it. Could be. I'd love it. I would love a Primorsk circle. We never get those.
It has been
circle going away from water.
It's been I guess you could say a hot minute, Poro.
Yeah, the hottest of minutes.
Yeah,
since we've seen a Primorsk circle. Closest I can give you is the hills just to the north side. Meanwhile, Sonics, okay, everybody gonna start doing their rotation. Sonics will run into 22. Hayes 10 will go down, and well, not to be rude, but that's pretty much the team for 22 there. If you take that man out, the rest of 22, okay. He's needed a shotgun rider. Nobody's really been there to step up to be there for him this tournament, at least for 22. We'll see if maybe sparks will spark here in the last two games. Maybe Raji Wow or Biznaga can pull something out. Maybe Vinny.
So did you say sparks will spark?
Yeah, I did.
That is iconic.
Am I wrong?
No,
exactly. Exactly. Sonics find the sniper tower on the north side. They're inside the circle. 22. Okay, RDS. He's going to tell you exactly how much thread is left on the tires for Versus as they make their way through. Going to try to take a Bolty in the backside, but Versus managed to sneak through I guess another No Chance camp.
Something like that, yeah. Dew been holding down the fort for versus. Look at the HP on this vehicle. They still got ways to go as well, man. They've still got a ways to go.
Boy. I hope Jube's got something other than a buggy over here, but it doesn't look like. Oh wait,
there you go. And the
fine.
open top US, yeah.
Yeah, make sure you.
One of the
you hide
safest things in the world.
I like how he's hiding that US. Like, we don't want anybody to take the time. Dude, it's literally got 10 HP.
It's
you don't
on
want to
fire.
take it anyway. All right, so Balti's big players right now. Is Finna going to take a few more into the backs of you, but they try to make their way into Quarry, which is becoming a little bit congested here now.
This is the fifth team.
It's a very Latin American quarry.
Okay.
Oh.
It didn't make the roof.
Loeb's got him. Oh no.
No way, Fiumba get in here. Oh, Silson just got knocked by. Oh no, it's a team knock.
It's a team. Can he get the? Why are you get the?
Why
res?
are you flushing? Why are you flushing? I'm upset. I'm very upset.
I'm beside myself. If I'm Silson, I'm already in LFT.
I've already tweeted.
The tweet longer is just.
I've hit send.
Oh no.
That's really unfortunate.
Well,
and Vinny's on the other side. Like, well, at least I don't need to push across now. Like you feel.
Yeah, I know, right? So if I got to be a solo, I might as well play in Quarry, and it looks like we're going to get a little bit of chance to do that as well as. It stays in for the time being. SSG, they've left 2.
This is, well, do you know what I was about to say? This is exactly what I was talking about with gas cans, Oath, and actually SSG. You can throw them in there because of that previous circle rotation. Now, this terrain that kind of divides Quarry and that South Road. There's only 3 teams to really contest it here. Young Kings are going to stay where they are, right? A couple of these other teams, they're not going to be able to come out of Quarry. Now, you think about everything else that's then outside of the circle. Look how much space SSG, gas cans, and Oath can command for basically, I feel like, the next 2 circles.
A little bit worried about SSG being that big 2-2 split. I mean, they're in no way, shape, or form going to be able to support each other. And Dignitas is starting to creep. And those hills are going to be looking real meaty. As you see, Vinny will finish off Songjing. So that is it for Fiumba there, 22. Will survive. I guess Songjing tried to make the push over into Vinny's compound. It didn't work out too well. Oath, meanwhile, they've got 2 right on the doorstep of gas cans. They've got Bale and Relo on the Primorsk Hill, taking long shots. I don't think that should turn into anything anytime soon. I think it's mostly just them keeping track of each other. And oh my God, Mime put him down. Hello, Senpai. Maybe overpeaking just a little bit. There's Lampalot spots out RDS peeking behind the rock, but RDS has that M24. Maybe you don't want to re-peek that too much. Oh, okay. Hella Senpai going to get finished off by H-Win. So Sonics get control over these yellows as Akreshe abandons them to go for that high ground on the north side of Quarry.
And looking, I mean, Dodge obviously able to. I say stabilize, but down to 2 now. It looks like Sonics actually want to pile the pressure right back on here. They pulled up to the north side of the hill, so I have to keep an eye on that as it develops. Elsewhere, Danny G going to find Rizola just behind the Wizard. This is exactly what I was talking about here. Yeah, I mean, Finner and Lampel are just going to tuck their tail, get out of there.
Good on them for being able to spot the push coming, and they'll get out of there and survive for a little bit longer here as Versus try to make their way through as well, and they are four deep in the open convertible. What they call, I think they call that a level 1 UAS in Korea.
Yeah.
As they manage to survive, though. They get through and they get a halfway decent spot here. Sonic's gonna take a few shots down. I'll let them know that they're looking. But also kind of keep an eye on Dignitas. They did what we thought they were gonna do, and they start wrapping down to the south. And yeah, those hills are looking juicy. Okay, so Oath Gas has to come to something now.
Yeah. Well, I love Oath's move actually here to control the edge of that compound, but Now, with this pull into the north, it's tricky. It's really, really difficult for Oath to make this work. I mean, there's so much distance to close here. Relo and Balefrost potentially could go north side of the road, right? And they can pinch gas cans as they try and come out of the compound. But Dignitas, you got to expect them to now backfill the shacks that the SSG just left.
100%. 100% you expect them to do that. And also looking at TSM kind of hanging out on that western side just out of circle, they're not going into Corey. I think I see them where, okay, I guess Versus is going to go into Corey 4 deep, and Lobes gets the three-man grenade.
Oh my god.
This is why you don't try to crash into the middle of Corey in circle 4.
That is the most nades I've ever heard go off in quick succession, by the way. It was like a TSM fight.
And they are going into Corey.
Oh my god.
And they get away with it. How? I will tell you right
pathing.
now.
That is precision pathing right there.
I 100% expect a TSM to wrap down south and go for those same hills that Dignitas is now working on. I did not at all expect them to go up into the core, but they get away with it. I mean, they've been hanging out over there. Yeah, I mean, they've been hanging out over there. They had the information, so I guess it looked good, and they end up going for it. And they get everybody in. Meanwhile, Oath will bring everybody over here to the south side of Gasket. What is Dignitas doing? They sent Sparking to the Primor's kill.
It's been Sparking to a Honey Badger position, way out on the edge here. And that's a tilter if you get knocked to that. Luckily, not going to go down, but the follow-up damage might just be there. Sparking go 2-seater. Shimboy will find Bale.
Yeesh. I mean, Shin's at least inside circle here. I mean, that is one hell of a read by Dignitas to see Oath making that rotation and then to just try to come across and see if they can.
And look at Honey Badger now. He knows that there's space here to be found.
Oh yeah.
I want to see one or two more people with Honey Badger though. This is the sort of position where it's like I don't want to see Dig fall again because of split focus.
Hikerman holding on to that high ground. He actually doesn't see Balefrost through the smokes. Balefrost literally 1 HP making his way through, and now the rest of Oath is underneath Hikerman. He never got to see them. It's okay, there you go. He sees Snakers. Balefrost will go down to the zone. Doesn't have a chance to get the heal off as the circle is about to lock, or did lock, and that actually, I think that might have been what did Balefrost in, that extra little bit of damage. Hikerman feeling the pain from it right now. Relo will find him. That'll be that knock and flush, and now it's just all Dignitas. This is just shooting what do you pigs in a monkeys in a barrel? I don't know. This is really easy.
Excuse me?
Easy. Fish in a barrel.
Fish in a barrel. Are you all right? Shooting monkeys in a cage. Was that where you were going to go with that?
I don't know. I lost the turn of phrase, man. Oh no, kicks. The grenade.
What? Oh, okay. No,
okay.
Yeah, that tarpaulin sheet. Soak that up.
Yeah. Tarp's well known for their grenade resistance ability. We'll keep gas cans in this for at least another 20 seconds, I guess, before Dignitas eventually just destroys them, because literally nothing else for Dignitas to look at right now.
I mean, they basically have they have 50% in the next zone.
Yeah.
And this was exactly the situation I was talking about with the circle kind of pulling here on circle 2. There's always one team there, and you know what? It relies on that one team being proactive, right, to clear all of these other threats. So if they deal with gas cans here, Dignitas have absolutely earned themselves the best spot.
100%. I mean, we used to see those hills get so much play in circles like this, but then it stopped. It stopped for the longest time because they got to be so difficult to hold in the early and mid game, because you never knew where you knew you were going to get crashed from. And so those hills just kind of fell out of vogue, I guess. And now, Nico's actually going to find the knock on a Shinboy. We'll have to keep an eye on that on the bottom side here, as we see Sonics trying to make their push into the SSG Young Kings situation. So this is about to be a 3-way fight Meanwhile, you've got Akreche and Dodge still up on that hill overlooking to the north. Oh, well, there goes Lampalot.
Just to see here is SSG kind of getting punished by Young Kings coming in, so they have to hold on to the warehouse here. They can't really flex out, and 2 members of Sonics, a third actually Mime coming to have a look as well. Look at that, Tiggleton fires the knock, immediately comes through with the flush there from Shrimsy. Again, now they've chipped away SSG. They can kind of reset on the back of this. They don't have to force the issue here.
Not at all. Oh, there's still a lot of smokes laying out. H-Win still has that high ground, keeping an eye on things to see if he can spot anything, give I think more for information than anything. But as you said, Dignitas just, I mean, how much room do you need? They have got everything. PSM gonna have to start making their way through Quarry. Smokes are down. Vinny still alive. 303 still working the southern rim here. Rusty Zera actually going to be the one to do the work here. Going to find Luke and Penta as Troglodytes coming from the low ground. We'll find 2.
Get away from that car.
Okay, and that is a really well placed follow-up grenade. Will flush out Luke, but won't be enough to get down Purdy. Halo's still alive as well. SSG looks like they're slowly starting to bleed out here from this Young Kings push. And look at the molly through the window.
Molly is perfection.
Why? Cuz with the placement. That grenade will go off, but just a little bit late. Sharpshot able to get that first aid off in the nick of time. But Young Kings already on the move. They know to be looking for him. They know to be expecting him. The blue zone is here, though. As soon as Sharpshot peeks out of this, where he's probably going to be in some trouble, though, as the shots come through. He actually gets the knock. Actually, that's going to be Rizola. Rizola from range here. And now Flux actually going to be in trouble as well. And that's opening up the door for Sharpshot to do a little bit of work. Flashbangs come through. No, H-Win. We'll finish him off. Poblex should be resable. Flux actually resable as well. The smoke clouds protecting him for the time being.
Yeah, the spam coming through from Dignitas, though. You can see Sonic's actually sending shots towards Dignitas is going to force them off, confirming that. Now, here's where it gets very, very tricky for Dignitas, because they can't flex into the forest too far.
No.
There is lots of sight lines to the east still in. You can see here exactly what I'm talking about. Mime actually going to find Flux here over on the other side of the compound for the time being. I think Young Kings... I mean, they've basically got the inside of the wall to play. They can't play outside because of Dignitas. Sonics should be able to punish them with relative ease. Unless... Okay, yeah, Dignitas. Sonics are going to be forced into the open here.
Sonics, you can see Punich taking the shots through the vehicle. Will be forced back a little bit by some pressure. But, I mean, you can see what Dignitas having to work with. As you said, it's all downhill. And now Sonics, the vehicle explodes. They've got a dip.
Sonic's might fall here to Dignitas.
This is extremely rough for Sonics, and they've got I mean, the only thing they've got waiting for them uphill is a full 4-man, actually a 3-man Akreche. No, 4-man Akreche, just uphill there, and Young Kings are coming in. Young Kings actually pushing them from the wall. So Young Kings have to figure out somewhere to go here. Dignitas does send one to the base of Quarry. But here we go. They still have some utility left in the chamber. Mime gonna catch fire, but it's not gonna matter. Look at the grenades. Poblex the last one up. There you go. Clean up. Sonic stay alive and stay alive from Dignitas. There's a Akreche now starting to peek over.
Yeah, and Dignitas will send a couple of extra bodies now, but 303, you gotta say, they haven't seen a lot of action. They should have the utility to deal with this here. Shinboy up close and personal. No helmet here.
Oh,
actually, that nade's gonna force him off the angle. What?
Oh, Balkan. I thought it was Shrimsy.
I thought it was Shrimsy.
Shrimsy taking the shot. It's gonna be Balkan as No Chance just still inside that sniper tower doing so much work. Akreche started to creep up. Sonics has started to creep up behind him. Akreche, you know that Sonics is there. You can't just completely forget about them. Oh no, Kurt. There you go. Trisk will be the one to clean them up. So TSM out in 7th place. 303 now can put their full attention towards Dignitas. Akreche get into the no chance sniper tower. There's 3 of no chance upstairs. What is going on? This just grenades.
Yeah.
Anybody?
Any Molotovs?
303. I know you got some, don't you?
Surely. I mean, Trisk has got a nade. Again, I understand why 303 they knew where TSM was, obviously. So leaving one back to kind of hold on to or secure their position. There we go. There we go. That's right. That's right.
All right. Balkan gonna survive. Rizola and RDS gonna go down. Yeah, Balkan got the lead feet. We'll stay alive for a little bit longer. Dignitas waiting for 303 to peak. 303 not going to be the one to do it. And Sonics get the nice shift. That is about the best shift that they could hope for.
And the big factors here, let's look on the other side, because 303 are going to be forced off this high ground. They have to come down towards the Wizard Tower. Now, Dignitas, similar position. They have to come into line of sight. Sonics, this is lining up. It's completely flipped this on his head now.
Yeah, 303 they've got to get something off of this. They got to get a knock somewhere. They've got to open up some kind of route to get inside the circle. Trisk will get the knock onto Ethan. They're going to lay the smoke wall down and protect themselves. Try to get in to that lower rim where Veritas is hanging out. But Akreche, I mean, that's going to put them right in throwable range of Akreche. And now H-Win still Almond. Comes the push. Not going to see him through the smoke just yet. Trisk knows he's in there, though. But where? Well, if they didn't have any utility, offensive utility, at least they got a boatload of smokes really to work with here. As JR will wipe his own teammate.
Wait, how has H11 got past?
What?
Well then.
There goes that. Akreche cleans up what's left of 303. It was always going to be a hard push on their part. But it ends up going down pretty...
Mime and Tiggleton should be able to just farm Dignitas here. As soon as this circle closes in, Dignitas literally have nothing to play now.
Yeah, you can see the smoke clouds are out. They've got a burnt out vehicle. That's about it, really. I mean, there's nowhere that Dignitas can go that they would be free from Sonics or Akreche. Like, no matter what they do, they're damned if they do, damned if they don't. Somehow JR's still alive throughout all this.
Yeah,
and Balkan's still alive.
I was gonna say the problem comes, Sonics can actually stay on this ridge for a little bit whilst phase 9 is closing in towards the star. Yeah. Dignitas relying on smoke cover. There you go. It's not going to be enough. Tiggleton gonna flush out Honey Badger. Actually, the tag comes through. Another one as well, but no kill just yet. We're down to the top 4.
All right, JRS gets spotted. Balkan. Oh, Hunter, don't do it to him. Through the window, Balkan. I think he heard that Alm shot sail by, and he's like, maybe I won't peek that again. KSH and RBN still alive, but Balkan causing problems here. He's a tough nut to crack. Last one up for no chance. Sonics putting all their attention towards Dignitas right now, smoking off the sight line from Akreche. Shinboy and Sparking have about 5 HP combined right now. They do manage to get the first aids off. We'll stay alive for a little bit longer. Sonics blue at their backs, taking a little bit long here to clean this out.
It was again, you got to question the utility situation for Dignitas. Balkan actually going to find one here with the nade. KSH's the last one there, but the molly is perfect from Balkan. No way. He actually comes out on top. He's going to clean that up. Shinboy finds Mime as well, though, so it makes it interesting elsewhere.
I mean, all of Sonic's basically prone right here. Okay, Shrimsy will clean it up. 13 kills in the bag. Let it be 14. Sonics finally get their win.
been a long time coming. And again, a well thought. They're very active to clear through the warehouse there. Another situation where I know Shrimsy will be smiling with that one, where they had to topple Young Kings. They've fallen a few times to them towards the late game, and that's a good one to see Sonics pull through, because I feel like you look back towards Circle 4 and Circle 5 with Dignitas arguably control 50% of those zones, right? The crucial zones that we look towards in terms of, you know, getting to a good spot and being able to pressure other teams away. And there is, you know, there's another scenario where ultimately Sonics die to Dignitas outside that wall. So the fact that Sonics are able to survive as long as they did, to comfortably then wipe Young Kings inside the compound, gave them access to the next circle where, yeah, a little bit of favor, but they cleaned up from there.
I mean, we touched on it earlier in game one, right? TSM winning a game where there's multiple times they probably should have been taken out, and they still managed to fight their way through it. We wanted to see the same thing from Sonics. I think we got that in this game. There was several times where you would say that Sonics was in the worst position. Could have died to Dignitas, could have died to Young Kings, could have died to Akreche. They do get that late shift, but I mean, there was their hard part of Sonics' game was before that, was getting to that late circle, that 8th circle, that 9th circle. Dignitas, on the other hand, no manner of luck whatsoever. I mean, they had the perfect position, and then the shift just went away.
Yeah, it did, and it's always heartbreaking to see a team have that much control where you think, actually, are they able to convert this, right? Are they able to pull this forwards towards the late game? And unfortunately there, I think, you know, also there's an argument to be made where those teams not having to fight each other in 303, particularly playing that very, very slowly and reserved to kind of clear their backside, right? Clear TSM out, who are still a threat inside the quarry, where Dignitas can't flex out, right? They can't do anything once they get to the edge of quarry, and ultimately they just have to sit there and say, well, let's hope the circle forces somebody out. Let's hope that this other team's going to engage, and it's always rough to watch that happen for a team play things so right through the mid game.
Yeah, Quarry is a weird, wild, and wonderful place, and we just saw so many reasons why in that last game. Crashes upon crashes, and everybody play. Oh man, I don't even know this. I can't wait to see the highlights from this one. It's going to be interesting to see what they actually pick, because I felt like there was so many. But we are about to take a quick break. Before we do, I want to let you know about Alienware. Now, you guys saw the Alienware gear that we gave out to the pro players during PCS 4. Well, now we are giving some of that same gear to you. So check out the ESL PUBG Masters Alienware Gateway giveaway details. Goodness gracious, easy for me to say, including all the terms and conditions on PUBG Esports Twitter account. Make sure you go and check that out and try to get you some laptops, the same ones that Shrimsy and Tiggleton use. You know they'll make.
They
you
have
play
about
better.
8 of now, don't they?
Yeah, no, they got their own throne of them. But okay, we're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, Analyst Desk will set us up for our final game of the day.
Welcome back to the PUBG Masters ESL. This has been fun. Big win for the Sonics. I know it was 14 kills, but it felt almost too easy as shooting monkeys in a barrel. Matchroom as they come out on top.
It's a game. You guys back up off of Poro about this. Monkeys in a barrel is a game. It may not be the phrase, but I got your back, man. I got your back.
It is, yeah, sure. It is a game, but you don't shoot the monkeys in the barrel.
Have you seen how packed those monkeys are in the barrel? The same thing.
Yes,
applies.
I've played that game.
So you know. You know,
I just don't like that we're just erasing fish from history here. We're just what happened
is
to
it
the
always
fish?
an all or nothing? Can't we have fish in a barrel and monkeys in a barrel?
Speaking of the fish, Godspeed, what's up with SSG, man?
So, interesting stat line. Space Station Gaming, over the course of the entire weekend, has only made it to phase 8 or 9 once.
Yikes.
Yeah, and in fact, they are now tied with No Chance, who recently just made their first appearance in the final phase 8 or 9. So it's been a really rough game. Honestly, looking at that roster, how many times have we said it? SSG team is so strong, roster is so mechanically talented. Just, you know, they have good leadership. It just something is very much not clicking with SSG, and I'm gonna be honest, it's not really just this event either. So
no, it seems like it's been a little downhill. But let's take a look at the last game highlights.
There we go. I gotta be super nice now, because I mean, Toffees, you're being all kinds of mean, and now Godspeed's being mean, so now I'm forced to be the positive one? How does this work?
I'm talking about, I just literally laid down the facts. That's it.
Yo, I facts like it's 1990, bro.
Start off with Balkan. This game, I do have to say, impressed me, though. He made a lot of, I guess, aggressive plays in a solo position, and a very awkward position on top of that, but this was a weird situation, to say the least.
This was fun, to say the least. And that was a little bit of a team knock there, unfortunately, and because of that, it did just come down to Sean.
It's okay, Silzen.
Yeah, he's like, you know what? Why don't I flush Silzen as well? That was, I don't really know what to tell you. That was a disgusting nade by Lobes, though. Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. And the amount of teams tried to crash into Corey, and you can see how it just did not work for so many of them. Molotovs seem to be the theme of the day. They continue to make me happy as I move forward, but man, it's just all about trying to get in a little bit more of a centered position, and with the hillside that you can see that's just going to be in the background of what's going on right now while Sharpshot's trying to move around, that's where Sonics is at, and a little bit of the shift that they have to do here in a little while after they take down Young Kings. But okay, Godspeed, these grenades. Break down, like, how do you do this?
You take out
other
your
than
nade,
catch on fire first.
You prime it, and then you throw it perfectly, which is exactly what Sonics did. I also want to give a mention to Dignitas out there just on the south. They had so much control from such an early position in the game, at an early time, in the game, and it was just honestly them dictating most of the circle line, at least on top of Corey and towards the south side. So huge shout out to Dig. Obviously, Akreshe made it into this Wizard Tower and did a pretty immense amount of work as far as getting some kills and really crippling the other teams. But ultimately, yeah, like you said, it was Balkan. Balkan was the one that came through for No Chance and finally got them in an endgame.
Again, after this stage, it's pretty much Sonic stepping forward, but I want to go back to what you were talking about with Dignitas. The awareness that they had where Gas Cans and Oath were outside the circle, leaving Sparking off on the side angle to harass, and the rest of them moving forward. They know the threats, and they know how the system works, and they know that the targets that they need to take down. And I love the awareness on how to focus in, and then tried to shift that into the later games, but the circle just did not do them any favors.
No, and the problem with that is they only got 2 kills. You know what I mean? They did a decent amount of damage, and they did a lot of shepherding, so to speak, to the other teams around them. But yeah, they unfortunately didn't really come out of that with a lot of kills.
And there you go, Sonics fans. Look, Sonics stats. Now you can be
big
quiet.
game for the Sonics. I mean, the reality is it had to happen eventually. You swipe right enough times, you're gonna get a match, right? So like, gotta win. They've been knocking on it for a while, so the groomsmen have gotten the ring. That said, it's a little bit late, but they're not out of it. Godspeed. I mean, the reality is, when we get to the overall leaderboards in a minute here, you're going to see that they are very close to, I mean, second place, to be honest.
Yeah, if they can get another dinner here, they are going to catapult themselves into second place, which, again, it's unfortunate that at the last week, Sonics were only able to manage, I believe, 8th place, so they just barely hit that $1,000 mark. But again, it's all about getting the PGC points, which even this win will help them be in a position where they can at least gobble up a little bit.
While this is up, just missed it. All right, we'll talk about this comparison, then I want to go back to some gas can stuff, but I'll give this to you right here, Matt.
Well, I was specifically requested this one because you can see the nature and the beast and what's going on. It's not like Sonics hasn't been putting out some damage, and we know that they've been firefighting. TSM coming a little bit more alive this weekend, just a touch ahead of Sonics. But you can see that Sonics is starting to get their feet back underneath of them, and that's going to be pivotal for them. We've talked about, I know people in chat all the time like, oh, kills don't matter, kills don't matter. Kills are about to matter a lot.
Oh, they
to Sonics.
always matter.
All right,
If
let me
they manage to
jump
get
in.
another chicken dinner, that's huge.
It is huge. Let me jump in, though, because this is a big one as well. I want to make sure we set this up going into the last game. Look at the overall standings. Gas Cans has 2 wins and 39 kills. Oath has dropped all the way down to 5th place. I believe last week the Gas Cans finished up week 1 in 4th. So currently, if the Gas Cans can get a chicken dinner on the last game and surpass the Young Kings kill count, which is only 2 ahead right now, Godspeed, they will win the weekend. Because Oath, Oath, though, has to maintain kills to catch Sonic. So this is a very real possibility here. If the Gas Cans get the chicken dinner, they could win the whole weekend.
That's true. And to be honest, it all comes down to this final game, right? All these teams have shown what they can do as far as adapting. Obviously, we've had some teams show up and some teams not show up. Specifically, I'm looking at Dig this week, which I'm not going to go too hard on them. I just think they're having a rough week. I still very much believe in that roster and think they're going to be fine. But yes, it's all come down to this. The teams that have adapted and start to show up. Obviously, TSM this week has been much better. Sonics finally did get their win, although they were... Sonics is just honestly like a tale of heartbreaks for, I think, many of us because they made it to so many different end games. It was down to a 1v1, like, I think, multiple times. But yeah, ultimately, Dig's just having a rough one. And Akreshe still killing and still playing very aggressive, trying to adapt, but also still kind of struggling here in this week as well, but still looking impressive.
What they did to 303 was dirty. Let's be real.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
No, they're still impressive. Just, not as impressive as last week. But I do love the growth specifically. If we're going to talk about a team this week or these 2 weekends, for me, it's Akreshe.
Absolutely. All right, so let's look back again. It's sort of the teams to keep an eye on as we go into this sort of last game today. Obviously, the Young Kings would love to win this week. It would be a big statement for them. Sonics has a chance to move into 2nd for the week. TSM wants to defend that. So those are all teams to watch sort of on a micro, right, for this week as sort of the battle for this week's dominance ensues. Secretly, we're going to keep an eye on Oath because Matt, they have let off the gas today. There's no arguing that. They are not the Oath I saw the last 2 days.
Also, 100% respect to you for figuring out all of the systems on who's going to be what and where, depending on these placements. My math tends to always go awry on that one, so thank you so much for doing that for us. But yeah, a lot more silent coming out from Oath. But also, we should note the fact that we have seen teams be very aware of how Oath can tend to play on the last day. And I think that, like in last game, Dignitas was aware of where Oath was positioned at and was specifically trying to make sure that they could not make it in the later stages of this game because nobody wants them to get that second chicken dinner, or that other chicken dinner, I should say.
Very true. Godspeed, another thing to remember is if the Gas Cans are to tie up and sort of move up to where the Young Kings are and rack up kills, the second tiebreaker after kills, I believe, should be latest placement. So them doing better if they win this game would push them ahead. So this is going to be a very big game for Gas Cans. So if you are Gas Cans' coach or involved with the team, I want to ask you to coach them, but I want to get your input. And you know that this is a game you have to win and you have to catch the Kings. How do you approach it?
If at any point, I would tell the team, if at any point you find yourselves next to the Kings and you have the opportunity to push them, then you got to take that push. I mean, if that's the only way to win, then you have to make the play, right? So ultimately, yeah, I think that would be my advice.
Matt, do you have any advice for the Cans as they go to try to lock up the ESL Masters win with this chicken dinner?
What you've been doing is working. Don't get in your own head about trying to make it all about this game. If an opportunity presents itself, just like Godspeed was talking about, great. If not, don't suddenly change everything because trying to change everything last minute is never going to work.
Yep.
On the opposite side of that, the Kings are on top. They are dominating right now, but it's been a very quiet day for them, Godspeed. Should they keep playing that quiet style and just kind of coast it on out?
I mean, they're still consistently making it towards the later stages of the game. So I would say, yeah, kind of continue to do what they're doing. As far as points and PGC, I actually don't think they have any.
None.
They have none, yeah. They have no points. Okay, so...
getting in the
honestly,
top 3 with the win this week would be a big deal.
I think they just continue to do what they're doing.
All right, real quick, Matt. Oath, if they go hard for kills, they could maybe just secure the win right now if they can put 10 to 15 on the board. Do you think they go right out the gate, or they wait till the end?
I think that you got to be aware of the threats that are around you. Similar to what we were talking about with gas cans, but a little bit more aggressive on the Oath side. You know that you're in the driver's seat, so take the driver's seat, and then if an opportunity presents itself that's a little bit more risky, take that one.
Well, let's take it now to the drivers of the next match, the gentleman with the call. It is the last game of the ESL PUBG Masters Americas with your host, Hypoc and Porsaurus.
Yes, it is us. We are here. We are here for the final game. And again, as the analyst has set up, okay, there is a lot on the line here. We're going to do our best to keep track of everything as it happens. But basically, bottom line, gas cans need to win. Gas cans need to win, and Oath need to get a few more kills. Oath need to get more kills than Sonics if they want to make sure of things here.
Yeah, because we're talking about that mirror position, right? Of obviously Oath winning last week, and obviously other teams staying put and whatnot. So this is really interesting, and this is the point where I know me and you were just talking about it. I don't want to plant any seeds, but this is one where it rides on a single condition for two teams, right?
Yeah. And not only that, but not even just a single condition, but you have to start throwing in the fact that, God, Hypoc, we know there's some of these teams out there. They know.
Oh my God. Okay, yeah. Sorry to cut you off. Oath actually went to drop towards Millie here. Gas cans dropped 70.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we were discussing. We were discussing the possibility.
I didn't want to say it.
We were discussing the possibility of some funky stuff happening. Gas cans, head on a swivel. Decide to drop Sev just to be sure.
It's interesting here though, because Fiumba and Akreshe down on Sosnovka. If Oath go in thinking that one of these teams is gas cans, then I mean on that circle I don't expect them to, but this could be a little bit of a misread, right? If they try and punish this early and then they over-invest in making sure that what they think is gas cans falls, it could bite them in the ass.
Yeah, well, let's see. I mean, they don't even have to necessarily invest early, right? I mean, they can get their looting done, take their time, and just, this could just be a bridge camp scenario.
Yeah, I was going to say, with this circle, it kind of changes that dynamic, right? There's no real time constraints to make sure this team behind you falls or to take matters into your own hand, because now they're in circle one. Ultimately, you got to expect that if Circle 2 posts up and Sosnovka's not in it, then Oath are thinking, well, these guys have got to leave the island now. They have to come to us.
Just looking at them on the mini-map, Oath is making their way into military base, so I think they should probably figure out that gas cans is not there.
Well, you say that, but then the mind games come into play, right? It's like, well, the Oath are then thinking, well, actually, what if they saw us drop? What if they're conscious of this? What if they're... Do you know what I mean? Like, it becomes such a huge time investment to clear out this space if you actively want to go and pressure them. I think it gets to maybe, the 6 or 7 minute mark if nothing else happens, and Oath maybe give up on that dream. But the fact of the matter being, right now, gas cans and Oath are on opposite sides of the map.
Yeah.
But only one of them's in the circle.
Yep. And that is once again, your two candidates for grand champion of this whole ESL thing. As we see Oath doing their looting, driving around, taking their time. No real hurry, no real pressure. As you said, they are inside the circle. As gas cans has probably got a little bit more of a difficult time. So I'm not sure, I've watched a lot of scrims. I've watched a lot of, different stuff like that. I'm not sure the last time I've seen gas cans play from the north. So I don't know what their tracking is. I don't know. I mean, I assume that they do research and they know kind of what's going on up here and where people like to play, but
I'm glad you asked that question, though, because this is almost like an audible, right? So you kind of have to flip around and say, actually, what are the usual problems we face getting into a circle from our spot? And none of those factors are now present for gas cans. So yes, they're going to have a general idea of who drops where, but in terms of knowing how those central teams, and I'm talking about, Veritas 22 potentially versus, and then Trogloditas over to the west as well over in Georgia Pole. How do they play these, southwest circles? Where do they go towards on milli circles? What are their rotation paths? All of these other things. If it's not there in the forefront of your memory because you're dealing with it every second game, it could come a crop for you.
And you also throw in that additional wild card factor that TSM did that Stalber Kamishki alt drop. So not in South Georgia as they normally are. And you can see them already starting to creep just a little bit closer. Luke 12 just hanging out on the bridge for the time being. Gas cans, I think, are served best by playing this slow and just kind of coming in with the circle, scouting out whatever they can, not trying to, push further than they can scout. The typical discipline things that you tend to get a little bit sloppier on whenever you're playing the same exact circles from the same exact drop point all the time. They just have to be a little bit more careful this time around. Yeah, diligent. There you go. That's the word I'm looking for. While Sonics have made their way out of Pachinki up to Pachinki Hill, we've got Versus just down to the south. You can see Veritas also making their way into the north side of Pachinki, where SSG is coming in from the east. So Pachinki already looking to be a little bit of a hot spot. Dodge going to the hills as well as we check in with Young Kings. Take nothing away from Young Kings. They have had one hell of a weekend here. 3 wins in a row is not something you're likely to see very often. Not in this not in this lobby, not in this format.
Absolutely. And again, let's talk about earlier and listening to that Publix interview of what they were going to bring today, right? And it was good to see them start off, make it a late game again. And like I said, I mean, the more often you get yourself to phase 8, right? There's going to be those games where the stars align, and that game then becomes just you can say default win, really. Ooh, and one gets a first tag, but no follow-up just yet. We'll take a tie-up. Vegas will respond, but it's difficult, really. And I mean, you potentially here, obviously, anybody below gas cans wins this game, they still come away with the victory here. But it's that kill count that obviously can, I guess, leave them short, really, because gas cans is 2 kills behind them, right? That's minus a win. So again, if you're projecting that gas cans are going to win this, you're going to say it's well, even by Young King standards, right? It's 2 or more kills. So
yeah. I mean, if I'm Young Kings, I'm thinking, let's try to be as active as we can, try to get as many kills as we can. We'll try to third party if it's possible. Maybe not so much thinking about the win, although this circle, they're sitting pretty okay as far as the circle goes. So win maybe not completely out of the question. As we see Oath, looked like they were hanging around on the bridge. Didn't look like, I think they were trying to spot out if they were being camped more than they were thinking about doing a camp of their own. And then the shots from Young King is going to put a pause on their rotation here. Dignitas gets a creep in. So, Space Station actually didn't stretch all the way down here as I thought they would. And there's no chance. Well, it wouldn't be no chance if they weren't just blindly sending it in to the compound in the top of Pachinki. They'll take flat top. Veritas looks like they'll dip on out of there. And no chance we'll get a place to call home for the time being. Not a bad spot if you can get it either.
We haven't lost a single player yet. I think the first time tonight, right?
Yeah.
If Circle 1 closes, I think it'll be the first time tonight. I think we've lost a couple of bodies ahead of time, but this will be the first one. I'm pretty sure if we see a Circle 2 with 64 alive, the first of the evening.
Fiumba's doing a bridge camp. Why not?
Why the hell not?
You know, just hanging out there, just in case anybody decided to come over. Maybe they maybe they've had some words with gas cans. Who knows? Just in case. Unfortunately, they'll be camping just a whole lot of nothing as TSM going to be moving in just to the south of Chopsticks. They are the furthest west team that we have in the circle.
They were the furthest north and east.
That's that Kamishki Stalber rap for you, isn't it?
Yeah.
All the way through. Gas cans have now made their way in with the blue just on ruins. They keep going, they'll run into Trog, and look at that. Okay.
Okay.
Get a nice little Pachinki circle for the boys. No chances spreading out a little bit. Veritas looks like they're going to try to pull in their 2-2 split. Pachinki a little bit closer. Sonics, meanwhile, still on Pachinki Hill, and they've sent it down to the warehouse as well. Gas cans hanging out in the yellows just to the south of ruins. Got to decide where they want to go. If you're gas cans, do you just kind of play the edge here, or do you try to work a little bit further in?
Hey, I like playing waves here. I like them holding on to all this terrain kind of west of mini Pachinki at least. There was an opportunity for them to make a straight shot, but again, okay. Rusty does get clapped out of the vehicle, actually. I was going to say, there's Circle 2 is always a tricky one. Like, if you commit to Pachinki in Circle 2, which, I mean, Veritas were their Circle 1, so that's kind of a null point for them. But no chance of Troglodytes kind of, I guess, gravitating that way now. It's concerning. Or at least it can be.
See TSM picking the pocket of Versus. I'll take our tray as the rest of Versus makes their push into the western side of Pachinki. You can see them in that forest green. Although, well, it doesn't look like they're in for any good spot here as they're going to get ripped apart by Veritas and Sonics. Meanwhile, look at Oath. 303 been just kind of vibing down here on the edge. I think Oath has figured it out as now Versus has pulled in. Veritas will try to take the shots. JR will get one. Grappo will get cleaned up by Shrimsy. JR will pull away for the time being. It looks like Versus will get at least 2 into this building and stay alive for the foreseeable future. But Veritas looks like they are kind of, well, what do you do if you're Oh, Danny will just take the shot. Okay. T-Plants down. Not flushed yet, though.
Jube still up. But you gotta feel like it's a matter of time at this point. See the utility gonna get invested here. But none of it going upstairs.
Well, they had, I think JR was sending his from the other side into the upstairs part, but the bars on the window proving to be a formidable opponent for Ethan and Danny G. But they have spotted him out. Yep, there you go. Ethan will land it through the bars. Never mind, bars. Who cares about bars?
Bars. It's not like it's tarp.
That is true. We all know tarp, most non-permeable thing in the universe. Tickleton gonna come up here and try to get a win, but 303 making it just the most annoying thing ever.
That's from so far away as well.
It really
Look at it.
Tig took all that time to get up there. Just for him to go down at the last second. Stone Storm, I'm going to send a few over there. Look at, but I mean, again, Oath still creeping on the south side there. What's up?
I just saw somebody from Oath shooting. Okay, this is where it gets kind of dicey now.
Oh my.
Yeah.
All right, Sonics maybe want to get back together. 303 already hopping in vehicles. And yeah, Mime's going to go ahead and I presume join Tig. Maybe pick up Tig and go down to Shrimsy even.
Well, that's the thing. The barn is kind of it's a play that says, right, we're here now, we're staying here, regardless of what happens, right?
I'd like it a lot better if they were on the hills, but
Yeah.
Looks like that's what they're going to try to do. Fiumba trying to make their way in. They're going into the eastern Pachinki fields, not even sending it for the hills here. They're sending it for the city.
That's a bold strategy.
And they're going to run right into Veritas again. As actually Veritas going to be repositioning in the midst of that crash. So Fiumba actually gets away with it. And they'll be safe, as you said, for now. But how long will Pachinki stay in this? That's the question we're all waiting to find out. Young Kings coming from the south side. They see Oath rotating just off to their west and will straighten out just a little bit. Sonics with the 2 on the top of the hill are about to have a lot of company, you feel like.
Yeah, I think so. And this is, I would say, overstaying their welcome, really. I mean, yes, Shrimsy got a foothold inside. Nobody really should be crashing Barn at this point, right? I mean, you got to look towards teams like Akrashe, Dignitas, and Dodge, who, you look at the kill feed, are getting into it right now, over towards C9 dip. They're the ones that really don't have much to hold on to on the edge here. And look at this, the knocks, the flushes. Dignitas going to lose 2. This is really... Okay, Punaj just claps back. VHC will fall.
Dignitas was just holding the edge down here. Kreche just makes the long wrap and runs right into him. And Dignitas ends up paying the price. Is now Dodge just going to third party onto this. Should be fairly easy. As a nice Molotov right onto KSH as he's going for that res. No, sir, you are done. And Honey Badger will clean up the entire squad. But can he do the same for Dodge? No, Lampalot is going to find him, immediately takes him down. Punaj will go down as well. Dignitas gets taken out. And now Dodge has complete control over the southeastern part of this circle.
Yeah, total freedom. And we'll be able to, I guess, actually stabilize here, get a good read on where they want to approach next. And yeah, I was going to say, on the other side of that, southeast looking good, northwest looking even better. Look at the spread from Gas.
Once again, Gas Cans and Oath are oh my goodness, we're getting
look at that spread from Gas. Look at that spread from Gas. It's fantastic.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Now they just gotta, regroup, and
now they gotta just find that much space inside this next circle. It's not that hard, right?
No, easy peasy. That should be fine. RDS gonna reposition the rest of the No Chance boys a little bit deeper into Pachinki. Now that circle has popped, they're gonna be backfilled by 22. Vinny and Raji Wow leading the way. Let's say I was giving a little bit hard on 22 earlier. I was saying Hayes 10. I went and took a look at the stats. Raji Wow has actually been stepping up this tournament as well, and been a pretty decent shotgun rider for Hayes 10. So usually it's one of those two. You get Raji Wow or Biznaga or Vinny. One of those guys will step up. This time around, it's going to be Raji, and unfortunately for 22, it hasn't really amounted to a whole hill of beans in the end in terms of the leaderboard goes, but. Good news for that team going forward that they can that Hayes has somebody he can rely on to come through and step up with him as we check in with Gas Cans on that northern side and Oath on the southern side.
Yeah, I don't know how is that vehicle burning? Finna leaving it very late to get out of it. Bale will actually find the knock that will weaken Dodge, who have to make this transition in. Will find themselves something inside the next circle, but Oath now with a man advantage and the high ground, expect them to potentially pressure this even further.
Well, if Oath can get more kills than Sonics and jump Sonics to 4th, then it doesn't matter what Gas does. So Oath really destiny in their own hands here, and I think they realize that as they do the wrap push onto Dodge, see if they can maybe take advantage of them being one down. Gas Cans, meanwhile, just nothing on the north side, all to themselves. Why not?
Like I said, they just got to find as much space as they had in the previous circle, and they've done just that. ESM,
it's unbelievable.
It's as simple as that, guys.
Unbelievable. All the way to flat top, nothing, just nothing on the north side.
This is a frustrating one. If you again, whatever happens here, you watch this back as Oath. With what I'm assuming was intended at the start to then see gas cans in phase 4.
Just get all this freedom.
Look at the north side of Pachinki as well. 22 are the closest.
Yeah.
To them. They have access to flat top, like you said, Prio, Church.
Everything.
This is wild.
Anything
this is going
that
to come
you could
hard south.
possibly want.
Hard south, please. Come on.
No way. No. Hard south. Hard south. Hard south.
You got to be kidding me, man. You have got to be kidding me.
Well, if you're a Gas Cans fan, things looking pretty nice. Pretty tasty right now as we get a dead-on Pachinki circle. Oath will get another kill off of Dodge, but won't manage to get the second or third knock there. As Vegas will be flushed out here. That should give them 2, but Sonic's still in it. They have taken over Barnes. Barnes barely in. They're getting harassed by 303. But you can keep an eye on that kill counter right there. If Oath can jump Sonics in that 4th place spot again, they'll take it. And Gas just sending it. You have the entire north side.
Well,
why?
Well, this is awkward, isn't it? They have the free pick of about 19 buildings, and I mean this is a play this is a play for just getting in the city, right?
Sure, I guess.
Prio block is open, like Church. Like we already talked about how much space they have on the north side here.
North 6 even? I mean, is like just to the south of the flat top? Okay, here we go. Shrimsy gonna get taken down as they try to make a move here. Mime by himself in there. Ooh, don't get hit by that mini. Diggleton's still left behind in the barns. So even if Mime does go down, Sonics will still be alive. That insurance policy of Tig. But TSM actually backfilling over towards Church, right where Gas was playing. We'll see how Oath decides to get in here, but there's, oh man, where do you go? I guess right into the side. Okay.
No.
That's,
oh, no
that's
way.
Not a good way to start
That
it.
is...
Now Relo's going to go down to the Molly. Lampalot and Hella Senpai will stretch out here to try to see if they can finish them. Relo will go down. Snakers low. Kickstart does get flushed. Balefrost still up. Snakers gets the heal off. Lamp is down. Hella Senpai working through the smoke will send the shot, the flashbangs. No other utility. Hella Senpai on fire though. We'll have to pull away. I think he survives that. Yes, he does. Just barely. Relo is resable here, and I think Balefrost. Okay, Snaker's gonna go for it while Balefrost just holds the smoke line. They've somehow managed to get 3 in. That was danger.
That's heartbreaking for Kickstart as well. He gets knocked on the pull up, and then the Molly comes over and confirms it. If they can stabilize and keep 3 up, it's not the end of the world. They're at least in this circle now. I've just said that before the circle popped, so obviously they're not going to be.
Oh boy,
as good as. Good as.
They're the building. The building just off to
the bathroom is
west.
in. The bathroom in Relo's building is in.
Yeah,
that's downstairs, right? It's downstairs on that side.
Well, to be fair, Young King's pushing further into Pachinki, so they're leaving room for Oath to backfill here, and not really giving any pressure. This is 40 alive, Hypoc, in the city. This is going to come down. This is going to come down to like 20 something alive in Circle 9, isn't it? And it's just going to be a circle, a 27 smoke, 27 FPS extravaganza for the win. And this is the exact type of situation where a team like Oath or a team like Gas Cans who are playing from the edge could just it basically puts everybody on a level playing field because everything sucks for everyone. Speaking of which, TSM gonna try to crash into no chance. We'll lose 2, but they get Alo and Purdy in. While the Nets of no chance, yep, they get to stay alive. Oh man.
Sorry, I'm looking at Diggleton actually cross the field right now. You can see it just on the mini map.
he's been spotted by execs, I think.
Oh no.
But look at the longest smoke line. The longest smoke line I've ever seen in my life.
He's gonna make it.
He actually makes it. Oh no! But he gets he got behind the door.
They have no more smokes. You can't smoke him in.
Oh no. Oh, you gotta get that. You've gotta get that res. Okay. Sharp shot, gonna find 22. He's gonna get Biznaga. But this is basically how this is going to play out for the next few minutes. You got to think. I mean, one guy will get popped here and there.
No way. JR just sent a second nade. He just sent a second nade.
JR got the re-knock. Okay, but Oath has made it in on the south side. There's nobody on these southern buildings except for Sonics and Veritas. So Oath actually in a decent spot, and they get the res again. Sonics still in it. They are in survival mode at this point. Troglodyta's going to clear out a little bit of no chance there. A couple of good knocks coming from across the way. Back to back, really. RDS, I believe, should be able to get these reses. There's no, you're not pushing that. Or are you? Troglodyta's using that as a chance to open up an opportunity to move into the building. Looks like Sonic's going to take some shots over in that direction as well. And oh my god.
Oh my god. I mean, if Troglodytas make it in here, like, essentially nobody dies on this circle.
I have no idea who's going to win this thing. To be fair, Oath actually not in the worst position. On the south side,
they've got breathing space.
They've
That's
got
all you can
room.
ask
They've
for.
got, I mean, everybody's on the other side of the street. Nobody's going to be crossing the street to try to take that fight. Trog ends up pushing into no chance. They'll get the knock again. Kill Demo trying to go for something. Nicely pushed by Cable. Now Exec's the last one up, waiting for the push to come through. Sees Cable, will get it. Cable will get the flush on to kill Demo. But ends up going down in the process. Execs wants to go for this res so bad, but look at this. Gas cans.
Straight through the window. No way.
Through. Oh! Come on, second chance. Execs goes down. They clear out each other. A combination of Molotovs. And they end up going down. Gas cans. I think they see the kill feed. I'm not sure if they've read what has happened. Exactly. Ooh, Hikerman gets spotted out by Vinny. I think he should be resable though. Oath meanwhile. Oh, Silzen. The follow-up grenade gonna finish out Relo, and now Oath down to 2.
Yeah, it's becoming harder and harder here, and I think you're right. Adam should be able to get this res here onto Hikerman, although the timing is tough. It means they're kind of stuck in lodge here. It's only Vinny to hold down on the north side, though. Look at this space that gas cans have once again. The entire block is open to them.
Everybody pushing in, or at least the teams that would have pushed in all eliminated each other on the edge here.
I'm just going to say it, though. Young Kings, with just as much space on the other side, still alive, still at 4.
I mean, Fiumba has 4 up in the dead center as well.
SSG,
TSM still with 2 in the dead center. Mime's still alive for Sonics, so he's they've been able to get another kill to add to their total. Oath now 3 behind, but they're down to 2. If Oath
no way.
Oh my goodness.
That cuts Young Kings out.
It was gonna have to cut somebody. In this case, it's gonna have to be Young Kings. They've had this split going for a while though, so they should have pretty good information about what's going on around them. The problem is everything's going on around them. There is no clear spot to move to.
That cross from Triple Mansion is just, it's obscene. It is so horrible. With SSG where they are, with Fiumba where they are, look at it.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing they've got going for them is Fiumba don't look like they're committing a whole lot of resources to looking over in that direction. They got, I think Emmy is the only one really looking over in that direction.
I feel like Young King's best bet, 10 seconds ago, wrap north. Like they have no. It doesn't look like they have the info, but they're very late. They are very late. Even now, if they get smokes down, Fiumba and SSG in a position to hold them.
And you've got the additional problem of the snake. Okay, there you go. Open up a door. Uncivil going to go down. So Young Kings making that push. They've got the smokes lying down, but how much of a problem is Hello Senpai going to be? Pavlex will get traded out by Roth. Roth will have to go prone. Stay alive a little bit longer. He does. They're going for the res here. Hello Senpai sees it. Hello Senpai gonna get another one. Can he get all three of them? Yes, he can. Hello Senpai, the snake ruining Young King's game. Yo, why? Cause the last one up, hiding in the smoke cloud.
Just like that. Young Kings,
and he's gonna
absolutely decimated. And look at that. Hello Senpai falls. Waika's down to Emmy. And we're down to 8 teams.
19 alive in phase 9.
Now. Look
I said
at
20. I was off by 1.
Look at it. Gas cans versus YK. Look at it. It's 1 kill ahead.
Yeah, and gas cans.
Gas cans in a god spot.
If they can win this game, they have, probably about the dot is going to end right there on that little patch of open ground in between gas cans and TSM. But gas cans has a wall. Oath gonna lose Balefrost.
Oh no, that's the Snakers has got to get the 3 kill solo now.
He's got to get 3 kills solo. Mime all by himself, though, still in it, but he's got to make his way across the street. Nice grenade from Snakers will push off a little bit. Hikerman's gone down for gas cans here. Not sure who got that knock. Balefrost will flush out or get flushed out by DraftKings. Vinny gonna be the one that's actually striking from the behind. He might have been the one that got the knock on a Hikerman.
Yeah, he did.
So Snakes being huge players. There you go. Mime is taken down by Alo. Oath still with 1 in. Snakers needs to get 3 kills by himself to be sure. Otherwise, if Gas Cans manage to win this game, but that's still a lot of it asking for Gas Cans. SSG still up 4.
Snakers down.
Snakers down, that's it. So Oath, the only way they can win this is if Gas Cans does not win. But their hands are, their fortunes are in the hands of really SSG and Fiumba.
I mean, shout out Vinny, to be honest with you, because it brought Gas Cans to 2, and look at it now. We have to relinquish some of this control. Adam's going to fall here. Nikos, last man standing, tanking blue damage.
All hope not lost yet for Gas Cans, though. These are those crazy games where a solo, if they can just survive, might be able to win it.
He's getting the res.
He's going for the res. He's going for the res. TSM scrapping with Fiumba. Fiumba going to lose 1. Adam does go down. The grenade from Lobes going to flush him, as it is just all smokes, no FPS. We've made it to our top 4. SSG still 4 up. TSM still 2 up. Fiumba got 2, but they'll lose Emmy. Veritas has gone down. Nikos listening for footsteps, but how can you hear footsteps with that many smokes going on around you? He's taking damage from the blue. He's going to go down to the blue. No! The nades from TSM. Can they actually hop up? Can they get 3 wins? Can they take first place? I don't know who got it.
Fiumba!
Fiumba!
No way! Oh my god, what an ending, Poro. I thought TSM were going to clear out the entirety of those smokes. That was absolutely insane. Holy.
I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. I mean, I'm going to have to go back and watch that VOD 3 or 4 more times just to kind of keep up with the kill feed and see what exactly was happening. Fiumba, I think, was playing it from the road.
Yeah, they were.
Gas Cans were in it, but he ends up dying to blue. It was creeping forward, took too much blue damage, and goes down that way. SSG had 4 alive, but the grenades from TSM did so much damage, and I think TSM, I don't even know if Fiumba got a kill for that. I think TSM just died to blue.
I think Fiumba killed Adam, if I'm not mistaken. So that was their only input there, other than the final kill. Like, up until that point, just crazy. What an ending that was.
Unbelievable. I mean, as soon as you saw the Pachinki Eddy, you knew all bets were off. Like, anybody can win this game. and Fiumba ends up coming in huge. But I mean, that is probably the luckiest win that you will see. Just surviving. That's all they had to do.
Oh yeah, it is. And like I said, I mean, I want to come back to the gas can situation as well. Like, you look back now at a couple of the decisions along the way, and losing one in that crash towards Lodge, and a couple of other things along the way. You got to say, man, with where they were looking in Phase 8, and as soon as Phase 9 posts, if you're 4 up there and you have the opportunity to maybe pressure some of these other teams that are going to cause you so many issues once you have to come out of that building, I don't know. We're looking at a different result.
I mean, it feels like they tried to do a little bit of pressuring, but that was Hello Senpai getting knocked, and this was just brutal. Losing kickstart like this and immediately getting Relo knocked to the Molotov as well. You got to give credit to Dodge. I mean, this was a hard push. They realized they had the advantage here.
Yeah, and it's good to see them react that way off the information given. It was TSM send on the way in, which I think lost them 2, right? That was when they lost 2, so they actually survived getting through. Was it from the flat top towards that 3-story? But Hello Senpai, what was it Steve said? A rat eventually has to strike, and look at that. Good for 3. Absolutely destroying Young Kings, which again, they had total control of the east side of the city for so long.
I mean, it was always going to be hard for Young Kings to make that push. I mean, they do end up going down to a rat, but it was always going to be difficult. And here we go, the replay. Keenan alive for SSG. TSM tries to push in. Purdy goes down. It was Silzen. Silzen didn't do anything. He just laid there.
No way.
He was just prone on the side of the wall. Okay, he did get he did shoot him for the final kill. There you go. Silzen. Wow. What a play.
And look at that. SSG actually somewhere along the way get themselves up to 10 kills as well. So it would have been a banger for them to close out. We're obviously talking about earlier their inability to find late game, or at least find those Phase 8s and Phase 9s. But this time around made a really good push for it. But the final hurdle, I gotta say again, it's iconic. We come to like Phase 9, 90 seconds into Phase 9 shrinking, and you see Kurt on the balcony underhanding nades into just 18 smokes on the floor.
I mean, look, if TSM is going to do anything, they're going to have utility when they need that utility, right? And you see your damage dealers. Fiumba, all things considered, they did a damn good job as well. I mean, they got 6 kills. They were holding down. They were in the center of Pachinki. I think one of the first teams actually to crash Pachinki, and they just kind of held on to 4 in the center of the city for quite some time, and somehow managed to survive. I mean, the play for Silzen to make that play in that kind of stressful, high pressure situation, to have the patience to just
like cross everything,
along the wall.
Cross everything, just hope.
I mean, the absolute ice water you have to have in your veins to pull that off, and then to go for the final kill as well. I mean, as all hell is breaking loose around you, just absolutely stunning stuff from Fiumba. And you know, they didn't have as good a week this week, obviously, as they did in week 1, but Fiumba is really stacking up to be a hell of a good team there from LATAM.
Absolutely. I mean, it's performances like this that put teams on the map, and they've definitely put them on my radar. Like I said, in terms of coming in with expectations and seeing how they've delivered, I'm excited to see them kind of follow up on that.
I mean, Silzen's always been a really good
name to
player.
watch. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, he was, I think, Nations Cup player, if I'm not mistaken. And you know, and everybody has ups and downs in their career. Silzen right now, this roster is looking really, really nice, and he is hitting his stride on this one. So really going to be interesting to keep an eye on them. But I am also, I think Oath takes the thing overall, but I have no idea. With the second Fiumba win, I'm not sure how all of that. There's going to be some shuffling going on there.
I was going to say, luckily we have a team of mathematicians.
We do.
I'm talking about Steve, Matson, and Godspeed going through that frantically as we obviously vamp for a few seconds just to wait for them to get everything set up for us. But again, it's endings like that I always think do justice to a good series of PUBG, and I'm glad we got to see that sort of ending.
Definitely an exciting finish, exciting to watch. But that is going to do it for us. Before I let you go, I got to let you know about PUBG New State. Make sure you developed by PUBG Studio. PUBG New State will launch as a free-to-play experience on Android and iOS in 2021. Make sure you pre-register on newstate.pubg.com right now. But real quick, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll be right back with the analyst desk to wrap things up with the final standings and an interview with our tournament winner. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. PUBG New State. Developed by PUBG Studio, PUBG New State will launch as a free-to-play experience on Android and iOS in 2021. Make sure you pre-register on newstate.pubg.com now.
What a game. You know, it's not often that we see city endings, but when we do, oh, man, it has an impact. Imagine being the gas cans, Godspeed, knowing you have to win, getting a couple of circles in your favor, and then seeing, oh Lord, we're going into Pachinki.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine and all. To be honest, gas cans, I mean, I completely agree with Pac and Poro that their rotation in from the north and everything they did was pretty wild overall, but I was very frustrated watching Nico die to the blue like that. That really kind of just... yeah, it kind of pissed me off. I'm not going to lie. That kind of pissed me off. That was really unfortunate. That's really all I have to say about that. That was, yeah, that...
Matt, did you have any thoughts on the blue?
Two big wins.
Okay.
I gotta say, if you are TSM, heartbreak abounds on that one. They had high ground over all of the smoke, just tossing out things, throwing out everything they got, doing TSM things, and then jumping down off of the wall just a little bit too late to where they took too much blue damage. SSG on the other side of that couldn't see blue damage, doing a ton of work on them. But I gotta give a shout out. Hello Senpai is who opened up the entirety of this game by taking the fights over with Oath at the start and then Young Kings to follow up. Sure, he was just kind of ratting it out as he went his way through there, but he saw it, took the shots whenever he needed to, and then made the end game ridiculously entertaining.
Don't write off the Rats. They brought Europe to their knees at one point. They definitely brought the Young Kings to theirs on that one. It happens. But something else has happened. I believe we have finished the calculations. We know who the winner is. So let's take a look at the overall earnings for the 2 weeks of play here at the ESL PUBG Masters Americas. Week 1, won by Oath. Week 2, won by the Young Kings, and I'm sure a lot of you are doing the math in your head right now, but we've already done it, so let's go ahead and reveal the winners. The grand champions of the ESL PUBG Masters is Oath. They came on strong both weeks, put in tons of work, and no one can argue that they did not earn this. A bonus $5,000 going into the coffer, as well as the lion's share of PGC points. Your champions, Oath. And we now have a chance to sit down with Kickstart to talk a little bit more in our special interview. I was trying to find a way to work RV into that, like inter-RV, RVU. Anyway, doesn't matter. You guys are kings. You absolutely dominated that event. Congratulations, Kickstart. Let's start out with the obvious question. Did you guys realize the situation that Gas Cans was in going into this, and is that why you showed up at the military base?
Literally, all 4 games today, we didn't really care about winning. We only chased gas, so if that answers your question.
Okay. It does. Matt?
All right, 2-point question. First one, real simple. I see all those decorations back behind you. Did you know you were going to be winning today, and that's why you set all this up so that way you could be all fancy and pretty for this interview?
No, that's completely normal. That's always there, I swear.
Just always there. I see how it is. Okay.
Every interview,
Now, the question
you
I've
look
got.
back.
Nothing super deep dived in this one. I just got to know, what's it like moving into a Pachinki finish like that? And like today, was it nerve wracking for you guys? I know you were talking about you were just chasing gas cans, but it got to be pretty close there for a lot of different reasons. Like, what was the general vibe on the team going into this last round?
We knew what we needed to do going into the last game. Jake really wanted to do whatever we could to kill gas, but we were all like pretty hesitant. He pretty just wanted to drive mud, like C-swap into them as soon as we see them, but I think we played it correctly and played our own game. We knew that gas was in poach, and like, of course, Jake team kills me both last games, so I got team killed again by Jake. So
That happened yesterday.
It was noticed.
Didn't that happen earlier this week too?
It did.
Yeah.
Are you taking away his driver's license? Is that the way this is going?
Well, yesterday it was a flick, and today it was.
Yeah, you might as well
I
take
don't
his
know.
gun away too.
He might have he just now got his driver's license, so I don't know if you can take it away yet.
Nice. Godspeed, any questions?
Yeah, first of all, congratulations, Kick. Looking fabulous as always. Really simple question, man. Is there anything specific that you guys are going to take from this event going into PCS 5? Is there anything you guys learned? Anything specific?
I think we've been working on crashing compounds, but I don't think it's as necessary in PCS because some of the teams that are in the group right now won't be in PCS like lobby, so
sure.
I think the lobbies will go a little bit more smooth. And I mean, you didn't have to do them like that. Come on.
What?
But yeah, I think PCS will be playing completely different.
Cool. Thanks, bro.
Awesome. So big shout out. I know you want to go talk to the guys. You guys are probably pretty happy about this, and it's a big PGC check of points to sort of put in the stash. Before I let you go, any shout outs? Do you want to go back to some of the trash talk that maybe you didn't get a chance to go to in past days? Give me a little something.
Last time I got cut off as soon as I was saying it, unfortunately, but it's just amazing knowing how much better than Sonics we are, and it's just great. Thanks to all the fans. Fortunately, I didn't get cut off this time, so it's great, but yeah, shout out to all the fans, shout out to the family, shout out to everyone that supports us.
And shout out to you guys, ESL PUBG Masters Americas champions for Phase 2. I can't wait for PCS 5, obviously. And then really at PGC, I look forward to seeing what you guys accomplish there as well. Congratulations. Thanks for stopping by. And we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
I like the enthusiasm, the passion that he came in with after such an outstanding victory. And more importantly, I like the revelation that our entire goal today was just to kill cans. Matt?
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. Whenever you take the oath, man, sometimes the oath is just taking out every single gas can you can see. It's important to come in and have goals, right?
Yeah.
That's the premise of life. If you have something that you can work toward, you always feel more fulfilled at the end of the day.
Always have a dream. Maybe it's killing like another team aggressively all day, but a dream is a dream.
Tangent.
That said, let's go back. Now that we've had a chance to talk about our winners, show you who took the big win, let's go back over sort of how the last 2 weeks went. We'll take a look at the overall kill leaders, who did the most damage, and a reminder of where everyone finished up in the standings. So again, these are overall kill leaders for the event. Godspeed.
I'm not surprised to see Shrimsy up there. The amount of work that young man put on on his shoulders was just ridiculous. I mean, multiple near game clutch victories. Shrimsy was just nuts. Luke 12 as well was putting in work. He was the last member alive constantly for TSM, which was a little worrying, but overall, yeah, TSM brought it back, man. And Alo as well. Shout out to Alo.
Damage leaders, Matchroom.
On the side of it, you can see it's going to be Sonics. They pumped out a ton of damage. Luke 12, we saw the amount of kills that he managed to get. No surprise that he's on this side as well. But if you notice the fact that we do have a difference of Oath players between this, so one picking up the kills, the other one doing the damage, and in fairness to Kickstart, it's a little hard to get all the kills whenever you're getting killed by your teammates.
Yeah, it's true. It's hard to frag when you're dead.
And a reminder of the standings for week 1. Remember, it's 2 sort of mini tournaments that make up how we crown the grand champion. Oath came out on week number 1 with 45 kills and 3 chicken dinners. Creche, Fiumba, Gas Cans, Dignitas had a heck of a week 1. You know what? Maybe we'll let week 2 go. Every team, people have bad weeks, right? Godspeed. It happens to the best teams in the world.
It does, but unfortunately, some of the teams that have struggled are kind of on a continuation cycle of struggling, right? So that needs to definitely stop or something needs to change. Obviously, Dignitas is not one of those teams where I feel like they need to make drastic changes. I just think, as you said, for them specifically, it was probably just a bad week. Trog, oh man, Trogloditas. I still really like that team, but it was rough. Young Kings, however,
Congratulations.
They played really well. Yeah, congratulations on winning.
I mean,
this
the reality, Godspeed, and Match, maybe you can sound off on this, is at the end of the day, you know, I think a lot of people aren't familiar with the Young Kings. And, you know, somebody asked that in chat, and my thought was, Young Kings is a team who just played the best day of PUBG of their life. Like, yesterday, Young Kings came out, and whether or not you like their style, they destroyed.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't, right? Exactly. And they took the lead.
It's one of those any given Sunday situations. If you can take whatever you replicated on that day through VOD work, whatever it was, and then figure out what worked that time and try to do it again, that's the secret to success.
Right.
Now, I know we're talking about a lot of the differences, but I do want to point out a lot of the similarities, especially whenever we're looking at the top 8 teams, both weeks, and how they lined up. There are a lot of parallels between them, and I feel like the cash prizes were a lot closer than a lot of people were thinking they were going to be.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. A lot of teams sort of, I think, learning a lot as well. You know, you heard the interview. PCS 5 is going to have a lot of the same, but some definite changes in who gets to be there. You guys can sign up as the North American Open qualifiers are registering right now. It starts on August 11th, so it's last chance to grab your squad and get in the game. Register at na.pubgesports.com. I'm going to be honest with you, like, even if you're watching and you're like, oh, God, I'll never beat the Sonics, like, get out there and have some fun. How often do you get a chance to truly flex those PUBG muscles against other teams who train and want this just as bad? Ranked is cool. Open qualifiers is cooler. All right, gentlemen, that is it. We have played the ESL PUBG Masters. We have enjoyed some chaos, some city finishes, some unexpected days of play. And honestly, one of the best single days I've seen in a very long time. But before we sign out, before we call it an evening, I want your final thoughts. Matchroom, final thoughts?
I gotta say, I've slept on Oath a little bit in the past as well. I felt like they played very clean. They understood exactly what they were going after. Whenever we heard the interview, it was like, we know what our goal is. We know what our threat is. Those are the things that you want from teams, and to understand what they need to do to succeed. I've got my eyes specifically looking at them moving into the next PCS to see what they can bring to the table.
Next one, Godspeed, someone who hasn't really slept on Oath in the past. I know that they've been kind of one of your pocket teams for a while. Congratulations. Final thoughts.
I'm not really surprised that Oath won this week, to be honest, or this event, but I'm really just genuinely excited for all the teams that have leveled up in the Latin America region. Honestly, like Acresce is now stepping up. I mean, Fiumba, which again has some storied players like Silzen, but yeah, I'm very excited for PCS 5 and what these teams are going to do.
I 100% agree, and I'm glad you brought that up, because the reality is, when it comes to BGC, we're going as the Americas, right? We have the slots coming from both groups. We are the same when it sort of comes to how we're going to represent ourselves at the international stage, and to see Latin America in particular become such a powerhouse in this event. Hopefully it continues to PCS 5 and beyond. It makes me super excited as just sort of this new combined region, because, you know, rising tide raises all ships. The better everyone gets, the better we get as a region, the more dominance we have on the world stage, and the more boasting and bragging rights I have when I get together with Avenger and Kylaris to hang out for drinks later. So please keep winning. I like bragging. But that's it. That's all we have for today. That's all we have for you guys. We love you for being here. We know you have choices, and the fact that you're here tonight means the world to us. On behalf of myself, Matchroom, Godspeed, Porosaurus, Hypoc, Clover, Cameron, and Bruno, as well as the rest of the broadcast team, thank you from the bottoms of our heart. We'll see you for PCS 5, and until then, play more PUBG.